say that actually a heavy-duty damper doesn't help. They have to put dual dampers on. All these are twin dual dampers that they have to put on that one to stop it. It's known. But we're up.
Oh, shared with me. Did you guys have a good New Year's, everybody? Did you go up to the mountains?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Polar bear plunge.
Did you? You said you weren't going to do it.
I didn't say that.
I thought you did say that.
I did it at the lake. I didn't do it at the Boulder Reservoir.
Do they actually call it the polar bear plunge?
They do it there.
How many people did it?
Just me and my neighbor did it. But
Just you two?
yeah.
Did you jump in the water?
Yeah.
How many people watched?
About 4 or 5.
Did they at least buy you hot chocolate afterwards or something?
Oh, we had hot chocolate and more than that.
So, Mark, did you hear what I said? So, everybody asked me if Jared went down to Times Square for New Year's.
Oh, did he?
And I said, no. So, do you know what those people do? Because they're so packed in there and they don't have enough bathrooms for everyone? They wear Depends.
Who does? Just
All the people.
How about that?
Letting them out once
They don't.
You remember that one lady that drove across country in Depends to shoot her
Yes.
husband or shoot her
She was
ex-husband or
an
shoot somebody?
astronaut, or she worked for NASA.
No, those are the fly little experimental airplanes that go up high. That's what we have to do. We don't have enough room to do anything else on.
Well, Tom, you know, flying,
Yeah.
will use a bottle. Well, I didn't know this until his son was in the office, and then he
It's
did
called
a
a
bottle.
Johnny something.
Easy for guys, not for girls. But
They make an adapter for it called for ladies, but no
Yes.
matter what, it can't be. It's not the way to go.
well, his son was in the office, and he,
It's
instead of
definitely
going
not
to
the
the
way.
bathroom downstairs, peed in a cup. And he goes, my dad does it all the time.
I don't have room in mine. I lay down in it. I can't. I really don't have room in it. It's long easy. And
Hey, pull up the Facebook in there. I want to make some edits on there. I don't think the dealership should be in the actual post. I need to look at them, though. I need to look at them. I think really it's a systemic Ford issue. I don't think AutoNation should be in there.
no, you're right, Mark.
I think they should.
We don't really work the pens. What we do is just take diapers in the bag and use.
No, but the other, no, you're missing it, though. Some of the other side, man, I've got one of the recordings. The guys, they're saying, hey, listen, you know, we see the problem. It's a brand new body style, brand new everything. We called Ford up. We're getting an engineer out here.
No, I agree. Ford is, but I mean, but for them to wipe their try to.
Well, that's after he threw the fit, though. Prior to that, they had a Ford engineer that was going to be coming out. That's what I'm saying. The other side of the story was there.
Gotcha.
They gave him some bad information. I mean, there's no doubt about that. But that employee, it turns out, wasn't even supposed to be talking to him. But once again, the reason he was is because the guy threw such a fit, no one knew what to do there.
Yeah.
But we're gonna. I want to stay away from that part because I don't think the dealer.
Man, the lights are worse now.
No.
Freaking worse.
I agree with you, Mark.
What do you mean?
Oh, they're
And all those young guys, you know, that come in there with their training.
Oh, shit, hold on. I got to get ready. Hold
Look
on.
at the shitty lights. Down they stuck
Oh, man.
They're dimmed down.
Oh,
Nice catch.
that was a good
Got it.
catch.
It's Janet's.
What? The table. Ah, Jesus. Kind of fill Mike in on the plan.
I know the history of the damper started with Harley Davidson. VW Bug, 1960 was first car was. We developed brackets for seats because it was a real big problem.
I'd like to get him on pretty soon, but make sure he understands we're focusing on, you know. Well, pretty much you know what I'm trying to accomplish in the edit.
Mark, you need to let people know not to drive for that doing that to get stopped right away.
And the one with audio, it's fine, but we got to just remove where that audio came from.
And if this kind of stuff.
Ooh. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show, the only show of its kind. We're here to solve problems, answer questions. What else do we do? Well, we take your complaints. We get directly involved. And I got to tell you, what an exciting weekend. I hope everybody, and I mean everybody, had a happy New Year's. We did. We went up to the mountains, went up to Woodland Park to a friend's house, had a great time. And I got to tell you, it's a new year, and it's a new time. We get to reset the money on how much we've saved consumers. By the way, Tom started this show over, my God, 38 years ago here in Denver. Prior to that, he did newspaper and consumer stuff around the country. But over 38 years ago, and what do? We literally try to recoup money or go after bad guys that ripped you off. Listen to this number. It's incredible. $200+ million in cash merchandise, exchanges, refunds, goodwill. That's what this show's about. If you've been ripped off, taken advantage of, that's what we're here for. The phone number's easy, 303-MARTINO, 303-MARTINO. I want to thank everybody, too, on the iHeart Network. I got to tell you, that iHeart app is incredible. We have people that email us constantly, all the time, from all around the country because of the iHeart app. So I suggest you download it when you're in your car. If you can't pick up our signal here, it's our flagship 630 KHW, you'll be able to pick it up on the iHeart Network. We're also live on Facebook all the time, live on YouTube. We do it all. And by the way, if you ever want to email a question or complaint, live at Troubleshooter.com. We make that very simple. Now, I got to jump into this. I got to tell you something. We had a video go viral. I've never seen a video go viral that we've done. I've seen viral videos go through, but it's absolutely amazing. In fact, it started going from 1,000 to 2,000 to 4,000 to 10,000 to blah, blah, blah. Next thing you know, we're sitting at 3 million. It's an incredible thing, and I'll tell you why. It's a guy driving a Ford vehicle and the wheel's shaking like crazy. We have Car Fridays all the time, so last Car Friday, a guy calls in and says, hey, my Ford truck is shaking like crazy. Now, I got to say this. I think his anger was a little misplaced. I dug into this story and worked very hard at it over the weekend to get the facts on this. His anger was misplaced at the dealer. The dealer's got nothing to do with this. This is a brand new 2017 Ford F-250 with like 20,000 miles on it. It ran perfect, no problems, and then basically after 20,000 miles, it has what no one wants to call, at least in the industry, the death wobble. Jeeps have this, Chevys have this. This just isn't a Ford deal. I mean, it's harmonics. If you really think about it, something wore on that vehicle in 20,000 miles. Now, they can't find it. In fact, the dealer was actually helping this guy out. This is the part that somewhat irritates me, but we got this thing solved as far as the dealer goes. But here's the deal. You know, when someone manufactures something like that and someone else sells it, you know, the manufacturer's responsible. He bought this thing in May. It's been out of service for about 3 weeks. He's bringing it to another dealer. Ford's going to end up coming out and basically fixing this thing, or he's going to get a buyback. My guess is he's going to get a buyback because if it's out of service roughly another week in Colorado, that means it hit the lemon law. If you don't have use of the vehicle for a month out of 1 year from the first year you purchased it, then the manufacturer can buy it back. But I'm dying to know what's wrong with it. I can't believe that the death wobble affects so many people. I've never seen a video like this before. I couldn't believe it. I've heard of it, and when I was in the automotive business, I definitely have been in vehicles with out-of-balance tires, bad shocks. They hit a bump and it moves a little, but this was insane. I am dying to see really what it is. And here's the other thing that's strange. I don't think we would have heard, and everybody around the country would have heard that all the Fords do it. It could be just this particular one, and that's what the lemon law's for. It could legitimately be just this one vehicle. But if you, listening, have had a death wobble before, I'd like to know how it's fixed. I see a lot of people say it's the steering. What do they call it, Deputy Clint? You were saying the dampener? Yeah, there's a steering dampener. His mic's not working over there. I don't have him, so we'll get that working. But 303-713-8255. But it was ridiculous. Going viral is unbelievable. It's a lot of fun. All you do is keep checking. I go, why did this go viral? Why? Because I think a lot of people, first of all, there's a lot of people out there that are Ford guys, and Ford's the best, and I think it's the #1 selling truck. Ford is the best, and then the Chevy guys are like, no, you never buy a Ford. You know what Ford stands for. So I think the key, listen to this, the key to going viral is you have something where they kind of fight back and forth. Suzanne, remember when we had that hunter that brought his daughter out hunting?
That was adorable.
Yeah.
Cutest little turkey hunter ever.
Well, it wasn't turkeys, they were geese.
No, she wanted to hunt turkeys.
Are you
sure?
sure?
Was of her with her...
with a goose.
Yes.
Dan, it was a goose, right? Yeah.
She was holding up a goose, but she wanted to go turkey hunting.
So that kind of went viral, not to this idea, but here's what it did. It did about 40,000 hits, but it's because all the PETA people and the animal lovers were here, all the hunters were on the other side, and it creates this back and forth. And it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy, but I think, you know, everybody tries to go viral. So when it actually happens, it's so unique, it's crazy. It's absolutely unique. All right, 303-713-8255. In with me, by the way, we have Wade Williams. He's with Axiom Inspections on a referral list at referrallist.com. Wade, you guys do all kinds of inspections. I know you do radon, but what do you do besides radon?
So we are a complete home inspection company, so we can inspect anything from residential homes to commercial properties.
So if I'm buying a house, you come out and look at it.
That is correct.
And you're going to check for radon.
We will.
What else are you going to do? You're going to look at all the electronics? I mean, all the appliances? What do you look at?
We're going to look at everything from the foundation all the way through the roof, foundation, electrical, plumbing, heating, air conditioning systems, and let you know what the condition of that house is.
Very cool. Any questions you have on home inspections? And I got to ask you a big question, and it happens all the time. Hey, I bought a house. I had an inspector out. He said everything was fine, and then boom, something happened. So I want to know how you handle stuff like that. Is there insurance policies? But we'll get into that. The other thing, we're going to get Mark Machowski on. He's with Budget A1 Computers, and at some point, he was out today in this Ford, and he's going to tell us what he thought. And we also have Mike Thomas that was out test driving it today. I want to talk to him. And we're going to get this vehicle bought back for this guy, or we're going to get it fixed. I think it's crazy, though. I really think it's crazy. I'd like to get in there. I might have to go get in it, too, but now that it's at the dealership, it might get fixed. All right, 303-713-8255. Sally, what's going on with you?
Good morning.
Good morning.
I appreciate you taking my call.
Of course.
Wanted to know if there is an organization that helps oversee homeowner associations here in Colorado. I live in a community called Ken Carroll.
Yeah.
And we have had nothing, but, I mean, it's just been
What do you mean by
crazy
oversees HOAs? I mean...
Who does?
No. I'm saying, what do you mean by that oversees it? Like what? Like the police or, you know, some kind of government?
Some kind of governmental agency, in as much as the association that oversees our funding.
Yeah.
It's our dues and taxes and so forth and so on. We had a bond issue go through. This is simply one of the examples.
Yeah.
The bond issue went through, and it ended up overspending by about $200,000. And they're raising our dues to cover this, contending that it was asbestos mitigation, et cetera, well, should that not have been built into the cost of the proposal for this bond?
Well, I'm sure it did, but cost overrun all the time. I mean, if they didn't do it, what would happen? Are you dealing with this asbestos, or what do you... I mean, what would they do if they didn't fix it? And what is this, an apartment complex, or what is it,
No,
townhomes?
It's a community. It's a community in South Jefferson County.
So what, I mean, is it homes, townhomes? What is it?
It's homes.
Okay, here's what I'm trying to figure out. Does the HOA have anything to do with the paint on the house? With the exception of picking out colors, do they pay for that? Do they pay for the roofing?
No,
these are single-family homes.
Complex. No, these are individually owned residences.
Okay.
The Homeowners Association oversees the expenditures for the open space.
So why would they be paying for asbestos? Explain that to me.
There is a main meeting area. It's called the Ranch House.
Okay.
We wanted to redo it, which is fine. It was built in '72. No problems there. And there was the proposal to redo the Ranch House, which is fine and jolly. However, the original, and by the way, the person who did it, a person who lives here on the ranch, the architect, the point being, should it not have been built into the cost of the bond proposal, the float, knowing that the building was built in '72?
Well, okay, fair enough, but they didn't do it. So, I mean, basically they're hitting you with a special assessment. There is no governmental agency that controls this. I mean, that's your answer. I've got a few ideas, though, so hold tight. We'll talk when we come back from these breaks. But, I mean, it's just kind of how it is. Approval reverse mortgages. There's a lot of changes this year. It's the new year. There's a lot of changes in reverse mortgages. I suggest you call Joan Sullivan. She can explain them to you. But if you're over 62, you intend to live in that house for a long time, you have equity, and you want to go on vacation, you need a little more income, or you want to get rid of that mortgage payment, call Joan. See if a reverse mortgage is right for you. You can reach her at 303-771-3528, 303-771-3528, or approvalreverse.com.
Right?
Ours is good. But we were in one that was awful.
I hear both extremes.
It's because if you get somebody that comes in and takes control,
Hitler's
and
kid.
they, yeah,
I know.
yeah, they run the whole thing.
I was in that Ken Carroll they were talking about up there. I lived up in Willowbrook in Ken Carroll. Almost, and they did have control over what color we painted our house.
Well, yeah, most don't say it.
And
Everyone
for
has
some
that.
reason, it
Yeah.
says I don't have permission to
Not
edit
of
the
what you
post.
can choose, not the
So
color
I
of
don't
your
know if you want to
house,
give me your
but what
login
your
and I
choices
do it
are.
through your login or what, but that's what it's telling me.
Mine is Mark at AspenGoodyear.com.
Uh-huh. Oh, okay.
What does your shirt say on the back? Killers.
Yeah, it's my favorite band. 32 days.
It's a band.
Oh.
Actually, she's a killer. She's been murdering people for 20 years.
You've been covering up for her.
I've been covering up for her, or else she'll kill me.
Dexter's friend, huh?
Yeah, like Dexter. Actually, Dexter was cool because really, he killed people that should be dead, right?
Yeah.
We all got to admit this.
Yeah.
You're cheering for the bad guy, though.
Yeah.
He's a vigilante.
You find yourself cheering for a sick serial murderer.
No, wish you could do the same.
I know. Yeah.
Put up Stan's HOA stuff for me. Stan, the man, the HOA guy with the plan.
He's
On
good.
modular
He
homes
answers.
and mobile homes, big complaints on formaldehyde. It seems like if they do carpet especially.
Okay. Yeah, put it up.
If they go off the vinyl, it must be sealing it off.
It does, yeah. There's newer home construction, too, where they're doing the fireproofing protection now, that they're having more formaldehyde issues.
Coming out of that, I know it comes out of the kitchen cabinets, and but they're not nearly as big an area as the floor. But,
Did that get you logged in? Traffic was a little bump today, but man, it's still like not usual.
Still, yeah, I think people probably believe
Why are these kids not back in school?
on a break. I like it because I come out of golden. So.
After next break.
TMJ therapy is up.
Are you a U.S. veteran? American Financing wants to see a
I did that background check on Dr. Berry.
Is
He
it
got
good?
pulled over for some of the weirdest things, like
I wonder if he's got a sports car or something.
muffler hanging down.
Oh, that's weird.
I
Was
mean,
it
it's
literally
just-
muffler hanging down?
Yeah, it even said muffler.
So it's fix a ticket.
I hope this cold is gone, man.
You gotta
Really,
get
my
on
coughs,
top of
in the morning I
toilet.
got to cough, but then get out of the shower, I'm better.
And
But I actually hear it in my own voice, which is weird.
Last night, I had no voice.
At least we didn't get the flu like half the building.
Yeah.
Not doing the earth. That's what it is.
Or rephrase it to where we just don't even bring that part of it up.
Do you have to sign up for it? Do
No,
you send it to you?
no, just yeah, or
Oh, yeah, so just,
Amazon.
or maybe an employee.
See if you like it. I mean, I wouldn't go.
Yeah, no, you're right, the way you just said it.
But it doesn't absorb. It's not. It's just suspended. So you got to stir it up, otherwise it settles to the bottom.
Right.
So the GoPro video
Like
isn't
ye.
that great. It's bumpy in my car.
So, Dan, really?
Yeah.
How's it bumpy in your car?
Because I have the suspension that wants to like track the road and doesn't like take the
He has that
bumps
button that you
Are
push
you
and his
serious?
whole car bounces.
But what I will say is there's a point on there where I go, holy shit. Right in the middle of the video.
How high does it bounce?
Crazy. I mean,
Does it come off the road?
No, it's like shape shifting this way.
Oh, really?
The suspension's going this way while the
What did
exhaust
Mark-
is going the other way.
When we bring Mark up, I'll talk to you and Mark. All right, folks, 303-713-8255. We're going to have Mark Machowski and talk about that Ford after the next break. But Mike just walked in studio. He was driving that this morning, or at least following it and watching it. And then Mark, our expert, was out there. We're going to try to dig a little more into what is a death wobble and what caused this, but I'll figure it out. 303-713-8255. Back to Sally in this HOA issue. Sally, there is nothing... there's no one over HOAs except for the people there. Why don't you get together with other people, or are you the only one that have a problem?
There are many of us, and when you're dealing with individuals who are so busy paying their mortgage and watching their kids.
Well, okay.
And if I could put an addendum to this, there is a proposal, very strong proposal by it's a master association who wants to expend monies on additional trails out here for which they're unfunded.
Well, don't you guys vote on this?
Excuse me?
Don't you vote on it?
Only once a year.
Well,
and they're pushing it through. And there's a lot of contention. I am not the only one. There are a lot of us.
But more people...
falling on deaf ears.
Sally, I hear you, but more people want it than not, or else they wouldn't vote for it, right?
No, they're not. No. We even had taken a survey, and more of the people do not want it, but they are not paying attention. I guess my reason for calling is to see if there is any...
None of this makes sense for what you're saying. I mean, if they want to spend money, unless if it's already in the bylaws, or if it's a special assessment for something like for something like asbestos or something, though, they can't just decide I'm going to go start doing stuff with trails unless if it's in the bylaws. If it is in the bylaws, then what you got to do is get enough of you guys together to overtake the board.
And so this sort of thing is ramrodded through between the...
What do you mean by ramrodded through? Who's ramrodding it through?
The board is ramrodding it through.
Hold on a second. We've got someone that's got a... Oh, wait, is that the guy that's got a HOA deal? No?
I thought you just wanted his info up. I didn't know you wanted him.
No. I'm not talking about Stan. Line 4 said he had a comment on HOA. I thought maybe...
It was a she named Kyle, but no, she hung up, so I'm refielding.
Okay,
Refresh your screen.
Sally, listen, I'm going to give you a website, okay? This guy's name is Stan. He doesn't really... You can contact him by email, but he knows more about HOAs. In fact, his entire life is going after HOAs. He got screwed one time, but he has done more research on HOAs than I've ever seen. But the reality is, if they do a special assessment and they're allowed to in the bylaws, there's nothing you're going to do to stop it. They can't just simply say, hey, we're going to go buy a new truck for the HOA, though, without having a vote on it, unless if it's already in the bylaws.
You know, as is so often the case, and unfortunately there are so many details on this, there is contention, there is great contention regarding making expenditures for which we have no money, and they're increasing our dues.
It's a special assessment.
But by the time we get another Master Association vote, it's too late. It's already written in.
Well, you better start working on it now, because then you can overdo it in a year or whenever your next vote is. But here's the
reason for calling you. I would love to get Stan's
Stan the HOA man. It's ColoradoHOAForum.com.
Forum.com.
Yeah, ColoradoHOAForum.com. We have him occasionally. I forget exactly what his story was. I think it had something to do... Oh, I remember. They were spending money. God, no, I don't. I think they were spending money and they would not release what they were spending it on. He took him to court. For some reason, he lost, but I got to tell you, he's like a vigilante out there with HOAs. I appreciate you calling. You can free that up, Suzanne. One line open, 303-713-8255. George has a comment on the death wobble. Go ahead, George. By the way, no one at Ford will acknowledge that it's called the death wobble, nor Chevy or Jeep, of course. They call it a wobble. But go ahead, George. What's your comment?
Of course they would call it death wobble.
Yeah.
Listen, first of all, I'm really thankful that you were able to follow up so quickly on this, and I'm sure this guy will get taken care of. It sounds like it's for the most part already done.
Well, he's got... let me explain to people. Basically, in the state of Colorado, you get 30 days without use. Pretty much, you can start a buyback. He's like it 20 plus, and soon he'll hit 30. I mean, I don't think the Ford engineer is going to be out there and have this thing fixed in the next 5 or 6 days. Now, I do need to say something about this guy. I like him. His name is Brendan. His frustration level was high, but he threw a fit at the first dealership that was definitely shouldn't have done it. I spoke to him, and he acknowledges now he didn't act exactly appropriate there, but he was, you know, he was upset. And I'd be upset, and we're going to talk after this break. I got Mike here, and we're going to get Mark on and talk about what this thing looked like rolling down the road. But keep going, George.
So there are two distinct but associated issues. One is the physical condition of the truck, and that's the manufacturer. I mean, the dealer just sells the beast. So that's going to be addressed.
And here's the deal, though. It's got, George, you're a smart guy. You call in a lot. It had 20,000 miles when he bought it, and he bought it through a broker. No. Listen, I'm sorry. He bought it brand new, 0 miles or whatever, a handful of miles. 20,000 miles later, it started doing it. So I think, I don't know if it's a ball joint, I don't know the dampener, the suspension anywhere, but something changed just a little bit. But it's not like he's got a snowplow on it. It's not like anything like that.
Right, you said it had original, it was represented as still being original equipment.
It is, it's absolutely.
Right.
Mark, I saw this thing this morning, it is bone
stock. That's really a manufacturer issue, but I have a little quarrel with you in representing that he misplaced his frustration and anger. We were all very frustrated and angry at, appropriately so, at how the dealership dealt with it. Now, I understand...
You mean the audio on the video?
Of course.
Yep, but hold on. No, you bring up a good point, George, but I got to tell you something. The one thing I'll say about Brendan, he records everything. It's remarkable. There was another recording that happened before that one, okay? That other recording, AutoNation said, we're going to fly someone out from Ford. We know the problem's there. We're going to fly someone out, and basically, you know, they're going to take care of their rental and everything, but we're going to fly someone out. You know, it's not like the guy from Ford, AutoNation, can simply grab and make them show up instantly, but they agreed to that. The guy got impatient at some point, and other things started happening, and basically that's where it fell apart. He throws a fit in the dealership, and the person that would generally talk to him couldn't talk to him because, I'll tell you, he made her cry. According to them, he made her cry. So someone that probably shouldn't have been talking to a consumer about this issue ended up calling up. Does that put a little more perspective on it?
It does. I'm wondering, I'm a little confused as to what happened first, because I only heard that audio where the guy was saying, you've got to, saying to...
65, you can't drive over 65.
Right, saying you have to adjust your expectations on it, and that's where everything fell apart. But I don't know whether that came first.
No, that came, that came almost last, and that was, here's the other part to that, that was in... The person, all you hear is the dealer in that conversation, but I've heard the whole thing. It's like 22 minutes. The dealer, that's one of the guy's employees. So in other words, that happened after he had the cops come to the dealership and take him away. He wasn't allowed to call him anymore. They said, don't call here, we're done with you, you can't do that in our dealership. One of the employees called that generally drives that vehicle. He was very calm, cool, and collective, and that was that conversation. That was the guy that probably shouldn't have been talking to him. But the reason the other person wouldn't talk to him is because they thought it was the same guy that just got tossed out of there.
Got it. Well, as you know, I mean...
There was definitely bad information given, but you got to put it in perspective. And, George, you know, you listen to this show. My God, I'll rip anybody out there. Anybody that deserves it, I'll do it. I got to tell you, in this circumstance, I dug into it, I listened to a ton, and then, even more, I talked to the consumer that called in Friday at length. And I said to him, let's think about this real quick. Where is the real problem here? And he finally came around and said, it's not AutoNation, it's the dealer. Not the dealer, not AutoNation, the manufacturer.
Right. Right, and so as you know, dealing with consumer issues on a daily basis
Yes.
for many years, the issue is managing expectations and knowing that
That's right.
people are dealing with you honestly, upfront, and
That's
in a
right.
prompt manner.
That's right.
And I think that's where, if the dealership, even though this guy got, overheated, it sounds like, if the dealership had managed it properly
From the beginning.
and effectively from the beginning, the guy would have felt that at least he had the dealership fully on board in his corner and dealing with the manufacturer properly.
Well, there's certain, George, listen, I'm not going to sit here and argue on AutoNation's behalf because that's not my job, but I got to say this, the other thing I do with complaints, Suzanne, anytime we've had any issue with any AutoNation, and I said this Friday, that we feel, we get issues about every dealer there is, but, hey, I bought a new car and I want to return it, and they won't let me return it. I don't care what dealership it is. I'd never get involved in that. But how many times have we thought something should be handled or they should give a little, and we email Steve, what does he do?
He handles it right away, Mark.
George, there's not one time they don't.
Right, you've said it. AutoNation has come through all the time.
That's right.
Not a problem.
They had, to me, you want to know what I chalked this up to? A rogue employee. But there were circumstances behind it. The only reason this guy was on the phone is because this guy literally blew up at everybody else.
Right. And I think there's a lesson for all the listeners on two sides of this.
Yes.
One being the guy needs to keep his cool and give people an opportunity to make things right. That's number one. Number two, he did something incredibly smart and has recorded it. And that made a huge difference.
Man, I got to give it to Brendan, though. He recorded, everything.
Yeah.
Everything. It's amazing.
Care of this, and I look forward to hearing what the heck was going on with the truck.
That's the biggest part, too, and we're going to be talking about that after the break. I actually had a guy out there recording it from the outside and the guy sitting in the vehicle while this happened today. And the remarkable part is they can duplicate this now. Hey, George, I appreciate it. 303-713-8255. One line open. We'll be right back after these messages.
You guys didn't do that today, did you?
Well, it occurred twice, and he let it run for about 15
All right, let's get Mark on.
This is what happens if we keep it going.
Man, it was...
I worked in this for years.
Well, I convinced him that whatever we left today to have it towed to the dealership instead of driving it to the dealership. I had no idea.
Oh, no, I don't think you are. Absolutely. This is back when I worked with the horse trailer. Same thing happened. She was on 225. The steering sector shaft snapped off just like this one did. And she went off the road, injured her pretty bad, killed both horses and the horse trailer. I've had this. You can't push it going like that.
Yeah, but that's, well, I found it in the truck.
Oil light on.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I think we need to get in here and tell people never do that. Never drive it.
Well, it was scary. I wouldn't drive into the vehicle, period.
That's a lemon whiskey.
I felt weird, like being 50 yards behind in my car.
What's it look like from that angle?
Bourbon is
Does it actually come off the road?
No, but it is
like every direction.
Every direction, like literally, the only way I can explain it is in a cartoon. We know it's something shaking because it's about to explode. Yeah. It looks like that. It looks like it's about to explode. I mean,
what did Mark think?
He said exactly the steering stabilizer shaft, whatever, a shock, kind of thing. More steering stabilizer. Like it goes through, it hits a bump, it jerks it one direction or whatever, it gets locked in position, whatever the hell happens.
3 things will stop.
And then it can't stabilize.
3 things will stop it. Slow down, right? Jerk the steering wheel a little bit, which I don't recommend people doing. Stab the brakes. Yeah. You had an old VW bug that did swing the steering. In 1960, VW put them on. In 1930, Ford put them on the VL. Started the steering stabilizers. And I Googled
I was young and strong.
new I
could hold them in place.
Dual stabilizers.
What did you do to this, Mark?
I can't believe I survived.
Would it fall? That's got to be out
Oh, yeah, Phil.
Do you remember that bridge, the Tacoma Narrows that got...
I don't know how to put it back up here.
That's exactly what I said. It's just a natural...
No, I agree wholeheartedly. And so the reality is that somehow one of these dampers isn't releasing all the way. Or
it's evident.
It gets into a bump.
It doesn't go that way. There.
That's not the way it was, though.
Well,
It was different. This thing was up like this before.
Oh, yeah.
I was back in my long hair days.
I have no idea.
Well,
Hey,
I
babe,
pushed started for the first
make
3
sure you
months I
stay
had it.
budgeted.
I carried a 24-pack of oil in the back so that I could fill it up. I mean, it was...
He's going to computers.
I wonder why I got to refresh this all the time.
It's been happening for months, Mark. Tom deals with it all the time.
Yeah, but sometimes it works.
I know, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't.
Okay, so this is...
I'm getting ready to go Thursday.
Nobody will fix a VW. Well, right. Well, back in the day, no, today. Oh, yeah. I got those parts today.
We had a guest
But back then, if that's dead
I
door,
didn't even
I'll
pay
sell you a
attention.
door for $10.
I know,
Nah, it's fine. It still works. Right.
So, does a dampener wears out after a while?
It's like a shock. So, I mean, it literally, I mean, it's an oil-filled or, you know, has some kind of a reservoir.
Or gas.
And it's, right, exactly. So the seals could go bad. Of course, the camera problem. I mean, okay, there are exceptions. It's rare, but it is rare.
Sedan, that was nice.
Yeah, well, that's the thing that blows me away. Why does it happen? If this was happening to every one of these vehicles out
But
there,
I think it.
we'd be getting these calls all the time.
My Maserati does.
Yeah, it's rare, but
I lost my license
Yeah.
now.
off-road race car, off-road race people
Well,
see it all the
Jared
time.
is his.
Of course, it was the problem with those was bigger tires.
So, my son worked for Miss
Bigger tires
Universe
need a
for
bigger
month.
damper.
They took him to Miss Universe. He presented the flowers.
It is better.
It was on national TV.
One of these isn't it?
And then
They're
they
fine
took him
if
to
you're one of
the
these.
Philippines for the first official tour of the Miss Universe. And the Miss Universe that was 2 years ago, she was Miss Philippines.
Here's
Her boyfriend is a
new
F1
F-250,
race car driver.
they'll go for the new
He's
F-250s
like,
here.
you know, 2 levels down.
This has
from
been a
the
problem.
show.
Right.
But still.
Double A or
Which
whatever.
is what
We
my
haven't
son
heard
wants
about
to
it.
do.
Yeah.
Well, I have
All of them, almost all of them are recommended to go with the
so
double.
his best friend was there who lives in New York, and so Jared and him are now friends. And so
Before or after the break?
Could do some F1 Formula racing for the fun on a Saturday.
Now, if the guy's got a dip stop
Jared
truck.
went to
All right, 303-713. 8255. As promised, I want to get to Mark Machowski, and I also have Mike Thomas, who's not only a friend of the show, but he actually, well, he's pretty much over our entire network. We talk about the referral list network when it comes down to the nuts and bolts of it, the actual, you know, the actual server, the actual hard drive, the actual domains, everything. Mike's over that, but he also does a lot of other stuff for us. He lives in Woodland Park. I have no idea why you moved that far away, but regardless, the other nice part, though, is if we ever need anybody served down in Colorado Springs, we tell a lot of people and walk them through small claims actions. Mike has done that for us down there. Today you went out, Mike, and you met with the guy with the Ford in the death wobble, right?
Yeah,
Brendan. And Mark Machowski with Budget A1. I'm going to get him up. And by the way, hey, Mike, Dahlia, Alvin, Kenny, I promise, right after this I'll get to all of you guys. But, hey, Mark Machowski, Budget A1, how are you, man?
Well, I'm doing great. Thank you, Mark. You know, that was a scary, scary test drive in that 2017 F-250.
Are you serious?
Yeah, Mark, I want to say thank you, by the way, just for meeting us out there this morning.
Well, I bought
and
life
taking
insurance
your own
policies
life.
on both of you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You guys are great. So great to be there. Great to be there to help the customer out. You know, I have never been in a vehicle. I can't even remember the last time that I was in a vehicle that was as scary as it was me being in this vehicle.
So you were driving in the vehicle with Brendan.
Correct.
Mike, you were in a car following him, getting footage from the outside.
Right, I'm behind him probably 20, 30 yards, and then Mark's in the cab with Brendan.
So I want to get the perspective from Mike first. So looking at this vehicle go down the road, the tires don't come off the ground, though, right?
No, but, I mean, you can kind of summarize it as scariest thing ever. I mean, it is the craziest thing in the world. I really don't want to blow it up because I don't want to make it sound like I'm exaggerating, but it is that bad. It really is that bad.
So this is something Ford should be able to find quick. Now, here's the thing, though.
Mark found it in 20 minutes.
Did it take that long to kick in?
Well, no, actually, as we were driving down I-25, I asked the customer, I said, let me ask you this. It's not doing it right now, but when you hit a bump in the road, does it start doing it? He said, yes. How did you know that? I said, well, I'm just guessing here. So here's what it is.
Yeah, but why? Here's what I get interested in, Mark. I understand. I don't want to know what you think it is yet. I do want to know in a minute, but here's what I'm saying. It didn't do it for 20,000 miles. Then it would only do it really occasionally. In other words, the people that have had it and looked at it, if they drove it 40, 50, 60 miles, sometimes on dirt roads, sometimes not, it never would happen. But then it started happening. Now I guess it's to the point where it happens more and more. It's gradually getting worse. Is that correct? Or is that a good assessment?
Well, it will gradually get worse because of what the cause of the problem is. But here it is. It doesn't take 40, 50 miles to drive this vehicle.
What is the problem?
It's the steering stabilizer shock.
That's it.
Yep.
Is that every does every all the comments we had on Facebook, does every death wobble come down to that?
Not every death wobble, no. But on this vehicle, I'm pretty confident it's the steering stabilizer shock.
So you basically get that replaced under warranty and then you think it works?
Absolutely.
Now I got to ask you this. You guys saw it. You guys drove in it. Okay? That thing must have other issues due to that. I thought the guy told me the windshield was cracked due to this.
Every single piece of that truck.
Components in the front of the vehicle that would be subjected to an extreme amount of stress based on that condition. So here it is. Maybe tie rod ends, maybe the steering gearbox, maybe upper or lower control arm bushings, maybe.
So are we to expect on a Ford? Now, see, here's the other thing. It's a 2017 Ford F-250 Super Duty. So am I to expect that every Ford out there with that same make and model is going to do this? Why just this one? Did that steering dampener fail and basically that's all that happened, Mark? Or why? How come we don't have these calls everywhere else?
Well, because you don't have vehicles that have a bad steering stabilizer shock. Whether it's a Ford, Chevy, or a Dodge.
So all the manufacturers can do this. That's why when we hear the death wobble, we hear it everywhere.
Absolutely. If it's the steering stabilizer shock, yes. And most of the time...
So in other words, it might not even... It's not a design flaw with Ford. No. It's literally a bad part. So they bought that part, they put it on there, and like any other part, no matter if it's new or not, it can fail.
Absolutely. It's definitely not a design flaw.
Now, so if they put a new one back on, so Ford replaces that, they put a new one, they drive that one around, so it shouldn't happen again in 20,000. We're really thinking, and we're just, we're all guessing here, we don't know, but I mean, you're the expert, you're guessing that part failed before it should have.
I would agree so, but here it is, Mark. You can disconnect that steering stabilizer shock, and you can move that piston in and out, and if that piston has no resistance in and out, then it's a bad steering stabilizer shock.
Mark, hang tight. This guy, Mike, says he's got a patented fix for the death wobble, as he calls it. Mike, what is it?
What we did is we redesigned the track bar mount. We eliminated the ball joint. What happens is when you hit a bump, that ball joint is actually allowing the truck to move laterally, so you lose your stability, which actually sends the truck into what they call steering wheel oscillation.
So do you still say it has something to do with the stabilizer, though?
That's just a Band-Aid.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You're saying what the ball joint issue creates a bad stabilizer.
No, the ball joint is what causes the wobble.
Got it.
The stabilizer tries to eliminate it.
I understand. So you're saying it. Mark, what do you say to that?
Well, it could be something else other than the steering stabilizer shock, but based on my experience, it's a good idea, though. That's a good thought, a ball joint. And that's something that very easily can be checked.
Not the track bar, not the actual ball joint for the knuckles. The actual ball joint attaches the track bar to the front differential.
Got it. Okay. And that's something fairly easy to check to see if you have excessive play in that, right?
It has nothing to do with excessive play. It has play, period.
So you're saying it's designed to have play?
In my opinion, it's a design flaw.
I got you.
We actually have the NHTSA in our shop.
But why does it affect so many different vehicles, Mike? I mean, it's not just Ford. I mean, the biggest one I read about it is Jeeps.
Okay, now Jeep is completely different. That could either be a loose track bar, or 9 out of 10 times it's lack of caster. You need a lot of caster on a Jeep, and you need a lot of caster on a like a Ram.
So both of you can say the word death wobble. Really, it doesn't matter. All that means is a vehicle shaking. It's not one cause. It could be all different causes depending on the year, make, and model.
Exactly.
Exactly. It's the same. It's the same effect. It's just a different cause. It just so happens with the Super Duties, it's a design flaw with the way they mounted that track bar.
Well, I thought Mike, I thought the 2017 was completely redesigned, or you're saying that the actual chassis and what you're talking about is the same.
Nope. All they did is they took the ball joint from the differential,
yeah,
and they mounted it into the track bar.
Got it.
So all they did was switch it around, which I'm actually in the middle of so yeah, so that's basically what.
So you're saying you have a fix for this. What is the fix? Actually, hold on, I'll ask you after this break. Mark, can you hang with us for a minute, too?
Absolutely.
All right, everybody hold tight. One Clear Choice Garage Doors. These guys are awesome, and they have an awesome screaming deal for the New Year's. Listen to this. You get a LiftMaster 8550. It's got the MyQ technology installed. It's got the battery backup, the time to close feature in case you leave it open, and you can add an internet gateway to this thing to where you can open and close it and monitor it from anywhere you have internet access. You got to check this thing out. Ready, $299 installed. Not just the parts. They don't charge you more for the labor. They'll come out $299. They also do tune-ups on your door. They do actual garage doors. They do everything. One Clear Choice Garage Doors, $299. Give them a call, and they're belt-driven. They're super duper quiet. 303-565-6409. 303-565-6409.
Well, I saw it on four-wheeler. It's a joint that doesn't allow a ball rotation, only allows a single rotation instead of a ball. But they're saying because the front axle has to articulate like this off-road, is why they have to have the ball. And when they put that rigid thing in there, the damn track bar will even bend when they do that instead of allowing it to move like it should. Four-wheeler magazine didn't like it at all.
There's another guy said it's a drive shaft, something unbalanced drive shaft, bent drive shaft.
That'll cause a shake, but not that.
I would have thought it would have been all the time.
Well, yeah, right. 100% of the time.
Yeah, or at least at a
faster
certain
you go,
speed.
the worse it gets.
Yeah, exactly. You hit a certain harmonic on that, and it shakes like hell. That guy had a Dodge van, and good God, it was terrible. Got under there.
Here's what I don't get, though. If it's a systemic problem, like Mike's saying, in all Super Duties, how come it only happens to a handful of them? I had a Super Duty. I did. I had a big F350, and I drove that fucker all the time. And it was a diesel, blah, 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 and I never had anything like this, ever.
A lot of times the lift kits put the camber off he's talking about.
This guy doesn't have a lift kit.
I mean, the caster, I'm sorry, gets thrown off on the lift
This
kit.
thing's completely stock.
I know, or bigger
Maybe
tires.
it's that shock. Maybe it's just a bad shock.
Well, that's just it. I mean, if everything about it's bone stock, it has to be a failed component.
Right.
I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Exactly. Or it's put in bad, something was lost. Or
If you can put 10 of them side by side, one of them does it, it's a bad part.
Absolutely.
I ran a VW shop for years. They started in 1960, and I put new ones in the last 2 weeks, and they were bad. Ask Daphne
with
about
that
how
little
bad it
piece
is.
of
Well, it's Volkswagen parts, you see, that's, you know,
She had a
Chevrolet.
She didn't have a bug. She had a VW
I had a big, I don't know why it kept,
Yeah.
it kept,
Is that who that went out to? Was you? Because I saw it came back and said VW. Because I had a '64 VW Big.
yeah.
I know what you're talking
It kept auto-correcting to big instead of bug. I'm like,
A buddy of mine, we were on a road trip when I was 16. He had a Volkswagen thing. I had a license, he didn't, right? We get on the interstate, we're maybe 10 miles away from town, clutch cable snaps, clutch just falls to the floor. How do we get out there? We pulled our shoelaces off, we made a pulley system around the rear bumper, and he sat in the back seat and actuated the clutch while I shifted and drove.
I used to have to go and get them all the time for clutch cable. I just learned how to drive them without.
Right.
Put them in first gear, crank the starter, and go and shift them,
grind it until it
jump
jumps
them in gear. Yeah, crunch it from first to third and go home. Mark, it's really funny because maybe 1% of the time does this happen to any. You have identical vehicles. It just
That's the part that blows me
It's
away.
got to be a part of how they put it in.
It's a harmonic.
Well, thank God it doesn't happen to
It's,
airplanes.
when you
It
say
does. It's
harmonic,
called flutter. Look it up.
there's a
It'll
fair part
tear
of it.
when they were trying to break the speed of sound, and all these airplanes come apart in the air. when they right before they hit the transonic, they get rid of the thing and it would rip the tail off.
Well, that's not good.
No, it
You think your drive was scary. Try being in an airplane
Without
that
a
loses the tail.
Yeah, it can literally happen to anything. It happened to Bridge.
A bridge up in Canada it was where they seen that.
That Tacoma Narrows, 1940.
In fact, what they did with the bridge, they took the steel, and now when engineers get a ring, when they pass their deal, they get a ring made out of that steel from that failed bridge.
Oh, is that right? Yeah. Tacoma Narrows Bridge?
But that, I don't know what that is. Is that one of them?
Yeah, that's Tacoma Narrows. It's called Galloping Gertie. It was 1940, a 40-mile-an-hour wind. Got that thing. It just got in the right harmonic.
But this here is a part that's supposed to be.
And you guys are absolutely right. It's a steering.
What are you looking at, Mikey?
There's another thing here where someone else, where Ford told them it was normal for the death wobble for a 2013 Ford's F-350. Same thing. F-350 is starting to shake when hitting a bump or overpass divider, blah, 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 blah. They said it's normal.
Someone told me, are F-450s governed at 65?
No, because we were doing 70.
No.
They said it's a 250 though.
No, you're right. Yeah.
Well, my dad had a 350.
The what?
The rental trucks, the ones you get out of
they are
Penske and stuff. They're governed.
But yeah, I mean, my dad had a 350. I mean,
mine wasn't. I know that.
No,
But not at 65. It wasn't governed.
No, it's governed at some point.
Maybe 90 or something.
No, a lot of the rental trucks.
I had a conversion van that was governed at 90.
Just so someone's not doing 95 in a box truck. And
because
Yeah, but these, well, big rigs are different, but I mean, shit, they'll be hauling at 100.
Golf carts by law have to be governed to 9.
9.
Yeah.
Who is the best realtor in the Denver metro area? Maybe even the world. Frank Duran, the real estate man. If you're buying or selling a house, you got to give this guy a call. He saved me a ton of money buying. He sold my house for more than I was asking. He's got a way of doing it that is incredible. He gets a little frenzy going, a bidding war. Yes, I'll give you the secret sauce. He actually lists it for less to begin with, to get a lot of action, a lot of offers. It works. 303-920-1622, buying or selling a house. He is the best out there. 303-920-1622, FrankDuranHomes.com, 303-713-8255. I want to go back to Mike real quick. Mike, I understand what you're saying. Your website, by the way, is SuperDutyWobble.com?
Correct. Yes, it is.
Do you have fixes for more than just the Ford? Do you have fixes for a lot of different ones?
Well, I can fix, just about any of them, but there's not a specific fix for other vehicles.
Got it.
It just so happens that the Super Duty does have a specific fix.
All right. Well, your website's out there. Anybody with that issue will have it. I appreciate the call, man. I want to go back to Mark Machowski with Budget A1, who was actually in this vehicle today. So, Mark, this one, you've put the new stabilizer in, and you're saying that thing will drive smoothly down the road.
Yes.
How about other damage that's possibly happened from driving like that?
Well, I think the thing to do is to check out the entire front end.
Well, I think Ford, tell me, here's where I'm coming from. I think Ford needs to do a buyback. It's going down to the dealer. It's already been in 3 weeks. It's going to end up being in the dealer for more than 4 weeks, which means by Colorado statute, it's a lemon. So therefore, he can start a buyback. Would you be confident that they could fix this vehicle? If they could put the new stabilizer on, I mean, are you confident that other issues aren't going on?
That I don't know until I check it.
Until you look at it.
It could be. I mean, how long has it been doing this death wobble?
It's been doing it probably 4 weeks if I had to guess.
Okay, all right.
But at first it was pretty intermittent.
Right. So, again, any competent repair facility can fix this, Mark, okay? But after the problem is fixed, then the rest of the vehicle should be checked out. For instance, how much play is in the gearbox? How much play we got in the tire rods? How much play we got in ball joints, etc.?
Geez, I wonder, and it drives me nuts because you got to think of how many F-250s. Probably, the F-150 I think is the #1 seller. F-250 is probably right behind it. How many of these are out there?
Mm-hmm.
And it only happens to this one. So I kind of tend to agree with you. That other guy, he says he's got a fix for it, but how come all the other ones, how come less than 1% of the vehicles have this issue?
That's a good question. You know, the most scary...
Same with Jeep and Chevy.
The most scary thought I had driving this vehicle, and I told the customer as he was driving it this morning, is could you imagine if the road had some snow or ice on it, you're in traffic, you're doing 65, and there's no telling, Mark, when this death wobble is going to occur.
That's
it just
so
happens
weird.
all of a sudden. So it just happens all of a sudden. The vehicle gets sideways. You're on the highway.
When it's not doing it, is it just normal as normal?
Yes, it is. It's very normal. Then all of a sudden, bam, boom, it's right there.
Oh,
Could
man.
you imagine getting in an accident in that vehicle?
No.
Oh, that would be horrible.
Well, he's got it. He brought it right over to the dealer after that, right, guys?
That's what he was saying.
Yeah, he had it towed over to the other dealer.
Excellent. Well, I'm dying to see if they do that because I don't know. I just don't understand the death wobble. The other guy said every vehicle's different. So it's never the same thing. It's
But another thing here, Mark, is
frustrating.
that even aside from, okay, the steering box or other mechanical problems that might be a problem as a result of all this, this is a very, very nice truck. This is not a work truck. This is not a work van. So with as bad as it was rattling and shaking and everything else, what happens 60,000 miles down the road when interior clips start wearing out?
That's right.
And he's got a rattle under his dash on his $90,000 Platinum Edition Ford.
That's why I think a buyback's in order.
I
And
agree wholeheartedly.
He's going to be right there. Mark, that's exactly what I was saying. How about little electronics, even inside the
well, yeah, if it
CPU?
shattered his windshield, is his stereo damaged
What,
now?
did you see the windshield? Is it actually broke?
I didn't see the windshield,
Mark?
No, it didn't look like it was broke. But
I don't know where I got that from. I swear the guy said the windshield, but maybe a call.
No, I think he did. I think he
did
did say it was cracked. There was a crack in it.
Okay.
Okay, the customer expressed to me, too, is because this is a work truck.
Yeah.
It's a landscaping company.
Yeah, he owns a landscaping company.
Right. Could you imagine if he was... I mean, his guys don't even want to drive the truck.
Well, no, and they haven't been driving it since then, except to get that first video.
But could you imagine if they're towing a piece of equipment which
but
truck is designed for?
I don't
and
think
they're on the highway with a death wobble.
Oh my God, the highway would be closed.
Mark, in the late 1980s, I saw an F-250. Lady was driving, had a horse trailer behind it on 225. It went into the wobble. It broke the sector shaft. She went off-road, killed the horses, injured her badly. And another concern is as long as that wobbled, it does beat out the tie rod ends and the bushings
Well,
in
yeah,
the truck.
he said that. There's going to be a lot of wear there. We just got to get this guy a buyback. I mean, that's it. We're going to work with Ford. AutoNation, the first people that looked at it are going to help us out with the 3 weeks it was in there. They already kind of reached out for Ford and got that ticket going. We're going to get this guy a buyback because I'm right where you are, Mike. I don't think that I'd want that vehicle after it rode like that. I don't think I would at all.
Well, exactly, because it's kind of this...
In fact, I'm going to go out on a limb and say no one would. Who the hell would want that vehicle after it's been driven like that?
Well, a vehicle with that many miles on it, driven up and down a chattery, just chopped-up dirt road compared to a nice highway is going to be in a different condition at 60,000 miles.
All right, folks, everybody hang on. Mark, I appreciate you coming on. We'll talk later about that. 303-713-8255. We're going to get back to a storage unit. We're going to get back to helping a pastor and other stuff when we come back. 303-Martino, one line open. My name's Mark Major, and this is the Troubleshooter Network.
Worked for Halliburton down in Texas, 60,000 miles on those dirt roads. Their trucks were
Look,
wore
there ought to
out.
be like a button
Being shook.
dun, dun, dun.
So he said he had people pulling up to him saying, pull over, pull over.
Dude, hey,
He should have.
Crazy. Yeah.
Hey, Mark, thanks. I'll get that video up.
What do you have
You
to
there?
slow down to before it would stop?
Mark?
He had to stop.
No way.
Yeah, I mean, we pulled over on the interstate twice.
But even if you would slow down...
How long did it take to get it to
still
do it? He didn't slow down to 20 miles an hour and then take off again, so I don't know. But I would presume not, just for the fact that he did stop. You know, that
You can stab the brakes or jerk the steering wheel or stop completely. But yeah, you're right. It has to go all the way down to stop that.
How long did it take to get it to do it?
5 minutes. First bump.
I think it's just getting worse and worse and
Well,
worse.
there's a spot though in between Founders Parkway and Ridgegate there where it's a lot of concrete panels there on 25, and so you get the da-da-da-da-da-da. In my car, well, yeah, I can get the da-da-da whatever in my car, but it tracks through it. So does every other vehicle that's driving through it. It's his that goes through and hits that bump and just starts going just like a madman.
So he's basically learned how to start it.
I think he knows the spots that tend to have enough bump. You know what I mean? Because I think a single bump wouldn't do it. I think it's whenever the truck starts doing this number because the front wheels are hitting the crack between the concrete, the rear wheels are not, and then it switches, you know, then it creates that harmonic.
Or you get a bump going one way and back.
Yeah, right. I mean, you know, trailers that are imbalanced properly or, you know, have too much weight on the back or whatever will do the same thing.
Negative tongue weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I drove one all the way down to Texas with negative tongue weight.
Right.
Freaking hula, 45.
Yeah.
It sucks, man. Ford needs to buy that thing back.
Yep.
We could buy it.
I don't know why he wouldn't be able to once he hits 30 days. I can't imagine in a million years why.
Yeah, but are they going to take a 20,000 mile?
They have to. Well, no, they take the depreciation.
Yeah.
But that's only fair because honestly, this just started 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Oh, yeah, if you got 20,000 miles.
But they need to add in his rental. Well, these guys are going to pay their rental, but he's going to have another rental during this process.
Yeah. He damaged that truck going a minute and a half down the highway doing that.
Oh,
I guarantee you he did.
Yeah.
I bet you could get in there and x-ray parts up front and cracks them.
But then he called for the tow, right? I got it. He did say that windshield cracked, huh?
I remember.
I don't know how that would crack it. Now, maybe if it had a rock chip, that kind of shaking would make it spread. But to actually crack it would be crazy.
It was, but believable.
And if it was big, Mark would have saw it, though.
Yeah, right.
It could have just been in the corner or whatever. But it was bad, though. It was crazy.
It was,
Seriously.
I don't want to be behind this car filming it anymore. Crazy.
Really? I talked to him. He said people would, when he was doing it, would pull up to him and says, "Pull this thing over."
Worse
pull it over.
Can you imagine towing something, even for a trailer back
it is
that thing
worse
would
than
be
short.
going?
Yeah, and they suggest, oh, you got to put some weight on it.
And I
The big
couldn't
tires.
afford, isn't afraid, you know, remember the tires that all of a
the whole
sudden
Jeep
blew?
is actually
That was,
were dying?
yeah, but that was, I think that came back on Firestone.
I know, but Ford should be afraid.
Well, yeah, if it's factory equipment, then
Yeah.
Firestone's
Yeah, but
proper
it doesn't. It happens to less than 1%. I mean, we're always going to have failures.
Right.
It's finding them and fixing
Well,
them.
they'll own it,
That's
but they need to
Absolutely,
own it.
that's the problem. Is the failure's not the issue. It's get the guy a truck that works.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's not a
steering damper right up front. I mean, what the hell's it for?
The hardest thing I used to deal with was ones we couldn't reproduce.
Right.
Yeah.
I hated that.
Well, I thought they told him
Well,
that they couldn't replace.
They
They
said
couldn't.
that to him.
Well, to tell him to
But
only
that's
drive
why
under
he
65
videoed
miles an hour, come on.
Yeah, but
He wasn't even going 65, he
I
was
know.
going 50.
I know, but to
When
tell
that
him
was-
that.
yeah.
To tell him
Well, here's the deal, though. He knew, just like Mike said, he kind of knew how to do it.
I've seen it start at 35 on VWs.
Here's what he should have done. He should have calmly brought that video back in. He never shared that. That's the other thing that's a little weird. He didn't share that video with AutoNation. You know, he took it afterwards and he was asked not to come back. But if they actually saw that video, then I'm sure they would have had this thing torn apart or had the engineer out there or had whatever.
You're right. It was probably.
Or when the Ford engineer showed up and they saw that video.
This isn't an unusual thing. I mean, I pulled all this Google stuff up.
Yeah, but like that one guy said, it's all different. It's all different on each vehicle.
But look what we got. You got drive shaft people. I got another guy called who works on the fleet of these. He says it's tires. You know.
Oh, it's definitely not. I sold tires, man.
He's got the E tire on it. You've got to keep. You know what they put?
There is no tire that's going to create what they're
A
describing.
really out of balance.
Unless it had big bubbles on it to where it was bouncing.
It's not.
They got to put 75 to 80 psi in those tires. That's a lot.
Oh, yeah, an E-load range.
Yeah. You know your tires, Mark. It's like you work for a tire store.
Or owned one.
C would have, so you got P-metric and LTs. Some sizes you can buy both. So what happens is, you know, people want cheap tires. Now, discount, most people would never sell them to this, but let's say you go to a used tire place, like down on Colfax, you try to put C load range tires on like a half-ton, man. Whew, boy, you can blow that thing up.
Really? No. It's amazing how many people will give their 2 cents on all this and stuff. But
I think especially when you get into cars, because, you know, like Mark said the other day, you know, you get a lot of the guys that are like, the Chevy guys, they're like, oh, those Fords suck, go buy a Chevy, it'll fix your problem, you know. Yeah, but everyone's got their 2 cents, because everyone gets into vehicles anyway, and beyond that, even if you're not a car guy, quote unquote, you still have a vehicle, you still have a Ford, you still have a Chevy, you still have some reason to comment on it. So,
The only thing I didn't like, I sold my F-250. The only thing I didn't like about it, I never had any of these issues, man. It was a damn manual, and I hated shifting it with coffee in the morning. Once you're on the highway, it means less, but it drove me nuts. Plus, gas was expensive as shit then, and the diesel was way more than gasoline.
Was that was a dually?
No.
What was it, 350 the dually, or is that just a
350 could be
or
either.
non-dually version would be the one, yeah.
450s might all be dualies.
Probably. When you get to the 450s, the 550s, 650s, I think probably
so.
because those are, I mean, conversion vans and everything, or the, big box trucks and all that jazz.
I've got a 92 Chevy short bed lowered half ton with a Corvette LT4 and a blower and turning 6 speed in it.
What year is it?
92.
92?
Okay. It was my way home on 9/11. I was shoveling planes down to Phoenix. And next thing I know, I got 2 Black Hawk helicopters escorting me down. I thought I busted some military airspace and I was going to prison. And I found out it was 9/11. But I couldn't get home.
Oh,
I couldn't bring the plane home. The airport closed. I couldn't get a plane ticket. I ended up buying it at the XL auction. For the little V6 and the 5-speed to get home. You can't find those 2-wheel drive short beds in Denver.
No.
The Troubleshooter. Welcome to the show, the only show of its kind. We are here to solve problems, answer questions, take your complaints, try to make your life a little bit better, get directly involved, try to help you. If you have been ripped off, you've been taken advantage of, or you just need help, we have got a vast amount of people on the referral list at referrallist.com that are always willing to help. We have experts that can come out and look at stuff. Let's say you had a painter out. You think the painting is not adequate. It's not up to snuff, and you want to make sure you're not sure. Maybe we can send a painter out to check it out. Maybe you gave money down to a concrete guy or somebody. God, those happen all the time. I got to tell you, paving and concrete is unbelievable. Maybe you want to know, okay, I'll tell you one. Maybe you want to know how to consolidate debt. Yeah. Maybe you just spent too much money. You ready for this, Mike? How much did you spend on Christmas? Don't give me a dollar amount. It's a ton of money, though, right?
It always is.
I mean, it's crazy. If I added up everything, I probably should not buy anything for about 5 years. But if you get in heavy credit card debt, Brent Ivinson with Ideal Loans. Brent, I got to tell you something. What's the best way, if you have a ton of credit card debt at 18 to 28%, to get rid of it?
Well, consolidate it. Now, again, we've talked about this before. I'm not advocating stretching your debt out over 30 years. It's just not the responsible way to handle it. But you can use the equity in your home, tie it into your mortgage, and get ahead significantly. And here's why. We routinely see people saving well over $1,000 a month by consolidating their credit card debt. And all those bills are hitting now. The holidays were great, but unfortunately now it's time to pay for them. And as those bills start rolling in, it's tough. And a lot of people are looking for an answer. We can show you not only how to consolidate your bills and pay off your debt. We can show you how to put money in your savings account every month. And we can also show you how to pay your mortgage off more quickly, so you literally can win on all 3 fronts. You can pay your house off more quickly and save on the interest there. You can get rid of your credit card debt and save significantly on the interest there. And you can put money into your savings account so you don't fall back into the credit card trap again.
And the other thing I'm going to bring up, Brent, that you forgot, is when someone refinances right now, not only will they save on that interest, but when would their first payment be on the mortgage? Because that entire payment could go towards something.
Absolutely. No payment on your new loan until March, so no payment until almost spring at this point. So great news for consumers looking to do anything. It really is a way to get yourself off to the right start in the new year, get things consolidated, get your bills managed into one lower monthly payment, and save on all 3 fronts.
All right, Brent Ivinson with Ideal Home Loans. Brent, I appreciate it. Anybody out there, get your Ideal Home Loan, consolidate that debt, quit paying that high interest, 303-867-7000. If you're in Colorado Springs and you're in the military, these guys can do unbelievable things with VA loans. They can help you out. 303-867-7000, Ideal Home Loans. All right, I'm going to get right to the phone. By the way, one line open, 303-713-8255, 303-Martino. If there's any updates, by the way, you want to hear about from last year, if you heard something on the show, this happens all the time. You heard something, you don't know how it ended up, did the guy ever get the money back? Anything like that, any updates, any questions you have, 303-713-8255. Dahlia, what's going on with you?
Hello?
Yes, how are you?
Yeah, hi, fine.
Am I pronouncing your name right?
Well, I did not hear it. It came...
Dahlia.
Dahlia.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. How can I help you, Dahlia?
I have a green box storage.
Okay.
At the one on Delaney Street across from Coors Field.
Okay.
I know I paid my bill up until let's see, the end of November. The bills are due on the last day of each month.
Okay.
When your bills are due. So I was in the unit for about 2 or 3 weeks in the end of November. Yet still, and then if you don't pay your bill, of course, I'm sure you probably know already that your after your 30 days is expired, you can't get into your unit if you have not paid your bill.
So when's it?
Anyway,
hold on a second. Let me get some math going here. When did you first rent this place? What month?
I was trying to get that in my head, but I have not.
Well, do you have the lease?
Didn't get a chance to read my lease. I got it reprinted this morning.
Okay.
And I was just trying to sort out the paperwork because it's so confusing that I thought about doing it that way, times, per month and times my rent amount and so forth and so on.
Well, that's Dahlia. Dahlia, there's no other way to do it because here's what I'm afraid happened. I think you're under the impression you rent it and then you pay for it after that 30 days. In other words, you're paying in the rears.
That's not the case. No, that's not the way. That's not the way. The 30-day, when you pay on the 30th, you pay for the month coming up. So now, if I pay on the 31st of December, I'll be paying for January.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yes, that's how it's done.
So what happened? Did it get locked? Or what's the problem, though? Let's jump to the problem. Are you locked out of it?
The problem is they are telling me I'm owing them since October. But yet still, I printed out my bank statements because I do it on my bank card.
Yep.
And I have my last payment was $400 because I was late. And all the ones anything that was late, I paid my $20 late fee. But my last payment per my bank statement, I believe, was $400, or it could have been like $150. But I have all the payments from my banking. I checked everything, and I have all my payments. I took them. Actually, I went over there.
Dahlia, this is math. It doesn't matter what you tell me. It just doesn't matter because it's all math. Send me over the lease and send me over the bank statements. I mean, I'll be able to figure this out. But if you got both, why can't you do it?
I can do that. I can do that for you, which is what I was going to ask you.
Okay, and if you're correct, my God, I'll go after them like you've never seen. I mean, but something's wrong there. Generally calls. Why do you think why would they, if you're saying you're paid up, what would be an ulterior motive for this?
Because something silly that happened with a young man in the office on the 10th of December. I went in. They sent me a notice to tell me my door was not secure.
Okay.
You push the lock in sometimes and you latch it. It doesn't always go all the way in, and you think it's locked because it looks locked.
Okay.
But if they check it, you would see the door can open up.
Okay.
So they sent me that. I went in and I said, can I have my... I had forgotten that they probably locked me up because I didn't pay my December bill. But anyway, I went in and I said, okay, can I get my gate code? He says, you can't get your gate code because you are locked out. I said, fine. So he did give me the code anyway. And then he says, oh, you're owing $400. Would you like to make a payment? I said, no. I didn't take it any further. I said no, and that was in December.
Okay.
So I said all I
Dahlia, what
was to check my door.
This still goes back to money. What's the difference between this and money? What does this got to do with any part of it?
I know, but see, I went in, like I said, I went in on Friday to pay the bill for November. I have my money for December. I have my money for November. But I am not paying them in November for December because I don't want a conflict. So I said, I have my money. Did not know they already broke my lock, put me up for auction maybe on the 7th, I believe. It says 30 days from the date.
Dahlia, this all comes, I can't stress this enough. This all comes down to math. When can you send that stuff over so I can look at it?
I can send it today.
Okay, get it over here. We'll look at it.
Yes.
But that's all there is. I mean, I thought you were going to start saying they stole from you or something. Okay, get it over, okay? I'm going to put you on hold. Suzanne will give you an email. But my God, I mean, my teeth hurt. Honestly, I don't know what that was. I mean, let's help her out, but it's all going to come down to math. Send me the canceled checks or the bank showing that it was put on the credit card or debit card, whatever it is. But it's simple. It's math. My total guess here is that she owes money. What do you think? Deputy Dan, honestly. And my comment
Absolutely, that's what it is.
Wade Williamson with Axiom Inspections. So far, this is the first time you've been on the show, or no?
It is, first time.
So what do you think about that? Honestly, pretend you're over here, you took that call. What do you think the problem is?
miscalculation of when the payments were made.
Yeah, once people start getting back and they're paying, you know, in January, they're paying October, then they get late again the next month, and then they're trying to pay a half payment here, I think it's going to be one of those type deals. But we'll be able to get through it. We'll be able to figure it out.
Mark, she has to be really careful. That auction will occur on the 7th. She'll lose everything.
Oh, yeah, anything in there. I mean, there's no doubt. But once again, that all comes down to the contract. If the contract says you go 30 days past due, you agree that we can sell your stuff. I mean, whatever it says is what it says. It's all going to be contractual. By the way, Wink and Wink, I got to tell you about them. They're a husband and wife team, Mike and Gigi Wink, and they take time with their clients. If one of them isn't available, you can talk to the other, but they're bankruptcy attorneys, and I find it amazing. You hire one, you get 2 bankruptcy attorneys. They're great people. They'll get your case filed extremely quick, but more importantly, if you've been paying stuff off, let's say you're stuck in a debt to where you can't make the payment anymore, or there's no way you're going to be able to make it soon, I want you to talk to Gigi and Mike about bankruptcy. Maybe bankruptcy's not for you. You might have questions like, can we keep the house? Do we lose the cars? These guys are happy to talk to you. They're knowledgeable. They're dedicated to their clients. They're great people. 303-410-1720, 303-410-1720, or winkandwink.com.
Then she starts, well, I don't want to pay November.
What'd you say?
Oh, that shit, sure. Yeah.
That's not what you said. She was 60 days back, or in the vicinity anyway.
Our airplane hangars, all 67
I don't even know
under the same rule.
I don't even know what she called.
Oh, yeah. 30 days.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was,
Absolutely. We never had to do it. Nobody's going to let an airplane
I was
go.
trying to take notes and I had to stop.
She can't mess around.
Well, I didn't know what she called.
I was like,
She would just take her stuff and walk over, this is what I paid, how much do I owe?
yeah.
Boom.
She's going to mess around till she loses her stuff.
Absolutely. And here's a good thing. She probably shouldn't lose it because she's paying $400 a month. Stuff's not probably worth anything.
Yeah, I had
Most of the stuff in those storage units are worth.
I know. I had a guy that had a $1,500 back bar that he stored for 10 years.
Well, if she's paying $400 a month, she's got a 10 by 25, so she's got some stuff in there.
Yeah, but I'm saying a lot of it's junk.
Oh, no question. No
People
question.
keep in there.
They'll have a garage sale in their parking lot.
And they'll make $350.
Dan, remember your one source auto problem on Friday?
Okay.
You know, you left the owner a message at the dealership. Anyway, he called back, so I just took his message and emailed you his info. I said you'd call him after the show. Was that the $600 car? I hope not. There was 2 different dealership problems on Friday. That was
I remember that, the $600 car.
But I didn't think it was a $600 car.
But that was a woman, wasn't it?
Is that an update? What is it?
Yeah. Well, it's a dealership followed up. He goes, look, I tried to call back on Friday at 1, but no one was there.
Oh, we tried to get them on. Yes.
I don't know, but I don't remember the issue.
Did your son purchase a 2012 Jeep Rubicon, $25,000, $3,000 warranty? That's what it was.
I told him you'd call him later.
I'll call him, or we can try to get Jerry on.
Yeah, I don't remember the whole problem, so you might want to call
she had a
the
problem
owner
with her
first.
son. It was her son's stuff.
Yeah,
So
let me know if I
give her a
should
call.
coordinate it all.
Okay, that'd be great.
Colorado's the only place where you can see a $2,000 bicycle on top of a $600 car.
Yes. That's no doubt.
You would know the last name. Said the message was for you.
Okay, what do you say?
It's downstairs. I've got the message downstairs.
What's your name again, bud? Wait. I'm Mike.
I can't believe, I don't know, maybe it's time of year, but I can't believe you're not getting questions, because we get those kind of questions all the time about radon.
Mark, do you want a cup of coffee?
What was the other one I mentioned?
Formaldehyde.
Formaldehyde.
I'm
Freezing. Mold.
All that
I know.
stuff.
Yeah.
Hang out of the cup for a minute.
What is the biggest formaldehyde right now for us?
Exactly.
Is it the sheet
Will Al be
from
coming
China?
on?
Was that a big
That was
formaldehyde?
big for a while.
That's huge, though,
gone
right?
away a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
And the newest big thing is the fire retardant they're putting on.
I don't care. I'll just do the spot. I don't care.
On the floor joists,
Oh,
structural members
okay.
on new homes.
On the
That just
TGIs?
came out in the last. Yep. It just came out in the last couple months.
Was the stuff from Rubber Liquidators that big? I thought, I heard that Rubber Liquidators it was blown out of proportion.
I think it was. It started in California, so the levels are a lot lower than the rest of the country. So
You know, their stock dropped by
huge.
Is formaldehyde mitigated, like, by changing air, like radon, or?
No, they actually got to remove the material usually.
Oh, I
So they were ripping up those hardwood floors and they're pulling out those floor joists and stuff.
Jesus, how do you pull pull out door joists.
No question.
Pretty much for the whole house. Also, wasn't the Chinese
they can't seal them with kills or something? I mean,
They're trying a new way of actually sanding them down,
yeah,
getting all that off, and then resealing them. So I said that new thing is just within the last couple of months, they're trying to come up with stuff.
You know, ozone generators are not legal anymore. You can't buy them anyway. Big ones.
What are they?
Ozone generators. If you have a house that somebody died in it or an animal died in it, you can put an ozone generator in there for a couple of days and it's absolutely gone.
You mean those odor cleaners?
That little big old.
They convert O2 into O3.
Why are they illegal?
Because if you put it in your bedroom, it'll kill you.
Oh, well, that's a good reason.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a hell of a good reason.
Yeah, they can only be used in, like, it'll get the smoke smell out of a car, but you have to build them. My son built big ones, and he buys houses in Phoenix. They have people around them die. And usually they would gut them down to the studs and put kills and everything, whatever. But those ozone generators in about 3 days will take it all out.
That's crazy.
But you don't. If anybody gets in that house with that ozone level, it's,
right.
Our bodies can't process O3.
Yeah.
And so you basically asphyxiate you. No difference in O1 by carbon monoxide. But
that's wild, though.
I'm surprised they haven't figured out something like that for some of these. But I mean, ozone generators only work for organic problems.
You know, you heard Tom and I talk a lot about stem cell therapy. I got to tell you, Centeno Schultz, they can help you with those painful joints, knees, hips, back, shoulders, hands. But I got to tell you also, there's a lot of people out there that claim they do live stem cell treatment, and they don't. If they ship in stem cells, I got to tell you, they're not live stem cells, and it doesn't work, or it doesn't work as well. If you want live stem cells, there's only one way they do it. Centeno Schultz does it. They go into your bone marrow, they take it, and then they basically, using a guided needle and a real procedure at a real doctor's office with real nurses, real doctors, they actually inject it back into the point, whether it's your hands, your shoulders, your backs, wherever it is. It can actually help with ACL tears. So if you're facing surgery for something, and maybe you don't want to be out for a while, maybe knees or hips, something like that, you might want to call these guys and look into stem cell therapy. It's amazing. It's getting bigger and better all the time, but Centeno Schultz is pretty much the founders of this in this area. In fact, actually, countrywide. The technology they have is unbelievable. But Centeno Schultz, 303-963-9201. 303-963-9201. You might want to do this instead of surgery. All right, 303-713-8255. I'm going to go right back to Dahlia. I mean, she needs to fax the stuff over.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm done with her.
I'll have her do that.
I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, it's going to come down to the numbers. Now, if we look at her contract, and we look at her lease and the start date, and then we look at it, when is that auction, real quick, Dahlia?
The 7th of December.
Okay, well, you better get... December?
I'm sorry, not December, January.
Yeah, so in a few days.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, so you need to get us that stuff. Can you get caught up? How much are they saying they owe you? Or you owe them? I'm sorry.
For almost 500, but I went to pay my December, and I had my January. I went to pay, and they wouldn't take it.
So you went to pay in full?
Yes. All he said to me is that your stuff is going to be...
Clint, do me a favor. Hold on. Do me a favor. Go call these guys. Say, why, if she pays in full, she can't get her stuff back? I mean, once again, this is all going to go to the agreement in math. But, I mean, come on, to sell her stuff, if she's willing to pay in full, let's see if we can help her out. 303-713-8255. Alvin, you've been waiting forever. What is going on? I've just got up here, you're trying to help Pastor Lauren.
Yeah, and before I get out there, can you hear me good, Mark?
Oh, my God, I can't hear a word he's saying. Say it again.
Can you hear me good? I think you can hear me good.
I can hear you like 4 times, until he straightens that phone out. There's no way in a million years I'm dealing with that. 303-713-8255. Cody, what's going on? Cody, you're up, sir.
Yes, sir. I got a 2017, and I heard you guys talking about the death wobble.
Oh, you got an F350. Hey, are those governed at some speed, by the way?
No.
Okay.
I've had mine going pretty good.
Okay, cool. So you have the death wobble as well?
Yes, sir.
How does yours, is it as extreme as what you hear us talking about?
Yeah, it's pretty extreme. And I just called Groove Ford where I bought mine on Arapahoe, and they're going to take it in Thursday and look at it.
How many miles are on yours?
It's almost 20,000, 19 something.
Tell me that's not ironic. I'm staring at Mike over here who drove in that one. Did you see the video we put up? Are you saying yours is legitimately that bad?
I did not see the video, but I'm guessing it's just as bad because it gets shaken pretty good. I mean, it happened twice to me yesterday. That's why I was calling.
Do you hit a small bump to get it going, or how does yours start?
Exactly, and you can feel it right before it starts. You feel that steering wheel start going, and then all of a sudden it just takes off on you.
Man, I'd love to follow this case too. You got yours through Groove. Have they looked at it yet, or you just got the appointment set up?
Yeah, Thursday morning they're looking at it, and I was just wondering what I should have them look at. I mean, I know you guys were talking about more stuff that could be wrong.
Well, yeah, but how long was this particular one was driven? You know, it probably happened to him. I don't even know how many times. Did he say, Mike? Did Brendan say how many times?
No, a handful of times, but it can't be coincidence that two 17 F Super Duty trucks are having the same problem.
No, right at 20,000 miles, which is even more bizarre.
Absolutely.
I wonder if engineering, at this point, Ford Engineering must know something's going on. It can't be just these two. But I wonder if they're trying to work on a fix.
Yeah, he did not say anything. He knew exactly what I was talking about with the death wobble, but, you know, like I said, like you guys were talking about, it's nothing that no one's ever not heard of before.
The biggest part we've learned, the biggest part is you've got to be able to duplicate it or tell them how to, because what happens, and I was in the automotive business, someone brings it down, say, hey, I have the death wobble. You have a technician hop in there and drive it, and they're going, well, I mean, what's this guy doing? This thing seems okay to me. Okay, it's an F-350, and it's got a little bit of vibration, but my God, it's a truck. So they think you're nuts because it never happens. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you can get any video of it, that's going to be the biggest thing. Or if you know how to duplicate it, tell the service manager right there, here's what you do to duplicate this.
Yeah, I could take it right on 470 as you're getting off of I-25 to come on the toll road, and I could get it to do it every time right there.
What's right there that gets it to do it?
There's a transition when it goes up onto from 470 on a 25. There's a transition right there, and there's a pretty decent little bump right there.
Yep, exactly. And you're turning that.
God, don't fly off there, man.
Driver's side. Well, you know, as soon as it happens, you just hit the brakes, and you got to drop down to. What do you have to drop down to, about 45 miles an hour?
I would love to know how, maybe this is why, Mike, this thing went so viral. Maybe there's lots of people out there with these 17s.
Well, it could be. I mean, I've got to say, whenever I saw the video initially, before I saw the real deal, I was skeptical in some ways, because I'm right there with you, going, okay, it's a bumpy road, you're taking video.
You're on a railroad track.
Yeah, or you're holding the phone in your hand, right? I have GoPros that I run in my car, and if I get on bumpy road, it gets crazy too, right, from a video standpoint. But, my God, watching that thing, it's mind-blowing to really see it.
And you think yours is that bad?
Yeah. No, I live in Parker. I could definitely take you for a ride in it and show you.
God. You know, I might take him up on that. I mean, I don't know if I want to die this young.
Up your life insurance, bro.
I mean, it sounds crazy, but it's very interesting. In fact, hold on a second. Let's get Cody's information. Mike, I'm with you. What are the chances? Two F-250s right at 20,000 miles. I go back to what Mark was saying, is maybe it wasn't just that one part. Maybe there's an issue with that stabilizer in that vehicle.
Yeah, but
Clint keeps pointing to this printout he's got where this guy says there's double stabilizers.
Four-Wheeler Magazine had an article about the new 2017s, and they all recommend dual stabilizers on them, especially if you have bigger tires.
Yeah, but if you buy a new vehicle, I mean, think about it. Yeah, I go out and I buy a new Chevy truck, and all of a sudden, you know, I got to buy ball joints in 10,000 miles because they didn't use a heavy-duty ball joint.
Yeah, here's your new truck. It's in warranty. Please go buy some aftermarket stuff and throw it on so that it meets design spec.
Isn't it bizarre, though, it takes to 20,000 miles? God, I'd love to know if all these are around 20,000. The problem is, a lot of people, if they bought the truck last year, a 17, they're not going to be up to 20,000 miles yet.
Well, it'd be interesting, though, to see if these trucks together are within a certain batch or something else, where maybe they had a part from a specific vendor, and that specific vendor, during that 10,000 truck run or whatever, supplied a part that was faulty.
That's very possible. So, actually, we could do that by the VIN. We can see the manufacturer. Well, here, though, what's going to be... I bet
our dealer could look it up for us.
His was an F-350. And the other one's an F-250, would it have that same stabilizer bar?
I would imagine so. I mean, so many of those truck components are going to be shared. It's difference in frame sizes, difference in things like that, you know. But most of that kind of stuff, I would think, would be common across all the Super Duties.
You know, we had a caller first hour that said, hey, I have an HOA, And the issue I'm having with the HOA is they want to spend money on, I think she called it a ranch house. I guess it's basically their common area where everybody can go, maybe rent it, or I'm not quite sure how they work. Maybe there's a pool there, whatever, but they're saying they want to spend money on that, and it's more than we all agreed to do. Well, it's a special assessment, so they decided to do that. Then they want to spend some money on parks and recreation, and I told her, I said, well, you need to run for the board or get all these other people that are with you and don't want to do it and overtake it. But we've got a comment from Kyle on that. Kyle, go ahead.
Hi, guys. Hey, when she said one magic word in her first statement, and I don't instantly know Ken Carroll, but she said they had a bond issue.
Yeah.
And HOAs don't have bonds.
Well, I found that bizarre too, but that's not necessarily true. She actually said, okay, you're right. She used the word bond. I don't know if they did or not. They all agreed to a certain amount of money to go in and get rid of the asbestos, I think she said, and then redo the ranch house or whatever the common place was. But I don't know if she was using the word correctly, but continue on, Kyle.
Well, she probably was. In most of those more urban dense housing places, they're going to have a special district. That metro district is actually a quasi-governmental entity. It's like a municipality for all intents and purposes. They take care of the roads, they take care of the landscaping, and when you have a bond issue, your ballot will have that bond on it, and you can vote yes on that bond or no on that bond.
And that's what she said. And she, of course, voted no, but more people voted yes, so it passed.
She probably also has an HOA because she says there's a master association. So she's got two entities, and most homeowners don't understand that they're both very different entities.
And I would guess, Kyle, the bond actually had a dollar amount they thought, but it probably also talked to the fact that if it needed more, it's gonna be whatever it takes to do it.
Spot on, absolutely.
Yeah, because that was her biggest issue. She said, hey, we voted on the bond. The bond, we agreed to X amount of dollars, whatever that was, and it's going over that. And I bet you anywhere in the language it basically said to fix it.
Right. So two things. Whenever somebody calls, there's two documents. Bylaws are related to the HOA.
Yep.
There's something called the service plan. And the service plan is filed with the state, and that's what governs the special district.
Yeah.
So she wants to understand what those two entities have the power to do. She needs both documents.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, because the HOA would never have a bond. That has to be a special district.
Right.
I think over in Littleton, Coventry might be one. And then there's Belmar.
Highlands Ranch itself is one big metro district.
Yep.
But it's with metro district. It's one big metro district.
All right, I appreciate you calling in, Kyle.
Story though. I have a great funny truck story, and you guys will laugh.
Go ahead. Well, hold on then. I'll let you tell it, but let me put you on hold. We'll come back, all right? So hang tight. And, over the holidays, if you found yourself in trouble, Joseph A. Lazare, he's a criminal attorney. He's probably the best out there. I bring this up because you might have got a DUI during the past 2 weeks. We had Christmas, New Year's parties. If you found yourself in trouble, there's no better criminal attorney out there than Joseph A. Lazare. You know what I love about Joe? Is he can bring you through both parts of the hearing if it was a DUI. By the way, he does everything else, too. I mean, shoplifting. He's even had murder cases. He's done everything. But what I really like about Joe is he'll hold your hand through it. He'll tell you what to expect. And if you were actually, if you're innocent and you want to fight it, he'll represent you in court better than anybody. He's got great relationships with everybody in the courthouse, too. And I'm talking, he knows the judges, he knows the DAs, he knows everybody. Everybody knows Joseph A. Lazare. He's a great guy. He's the best criminal attorney. So if you've been accused of a crime, any crime, it can ruin your life. You better hire an attorney. If you think you're going to do it on your own, I would definitely not do it. Call Joseph A. Lazare. Write his phone number down. Put it in your wallet or glove box or purse so you have it when it comes up. But if you know anybody that got in trouble in the last couple of weeks, tell them to reach out to an attorney. And the best out there, Joseph A. Lazare, 303-429-6200. 303-429-6200. 303-429-6200.
80% of Fortune 500 companies lease their vehicles.
Who did you say?
Yeah, Dan got drunk and jumped into a cold lake.
Okay, I have them up now.
I would have to be.
Have to what? Who? Where?
It's better than fasting.
What's better than fasting?
Jumping into a
Freezing cold lake.
I'm going to ask you about that on air.
Guys, we have got to make sure we close that door downstairs. We need to tell Nate.
When was it open?
When I went downstairs.
Oh, Nate wasn't there?
No.
When I come in, I find it doesn't click shut.
Well,
It
if we're in there, we do
shut.
that on purpose.
Yeah.
But if you're the last one in there, you got to shut
Because
it.
Suzanne and I leave our purses, so that's
The storage lady.
annoying.
The storage lady?
Yes.
Trying to pay December with a check. She's behind other months. They can't take December unless she catches up the prior months, and they have to have cash.
So how much does she owe?
He doesn't know. The guy that's there doesn't know right now. He didn't have access to the accounting. She's going to send the stuff in.
So if she has a check, then she should be able to pull cash.
They're saying we're not going to take a check. They're afraid she's going to
Yeah.
empty the fucker out.
Right, exactly.
Well, yeah, she can stop payment on a check or a credit card. So at this point, when he said when they're more than so much delinquent, they require cash.
How many days delinquent is she? Did he say?
He didn't know. He was just giving me the rules, and he said that yes, they would not take a December payment if she had not paid her November payment.
God, it always comes down to money.
Yeah.
That's the problem. She just got lost in the math.
Yeah.
She could honestly think she is paid an extra month and hasn't.
You know,
how do you do radon, man? Do you send out a test?
Yep, it's a standing test for 48 hours.
Okay.
I'll let you know.
Do you go set it up or do you mail it out?
Set it up.
Okay.
So you have a standing continuous monitoring test. They do also make the ones you can mail in as well.
At what point houses get older is it not a problem or could be a problem?
It's always a problem.
Always
New houses, old houses,
okay.
It steadily rises from the soil.
Yeah, but I've heard after a house gets so old, it's not really much of a problem anymore. But,
No, not unless you leave all the windows open in the old house. So yeah, we do 1894 houses all the time.
Holy moly.
yeah, wow, I didn't know that.
1894?
Yep, got a lot of old houses
I
down
learned
there.
something every day when I come
But
in.
why did you pick 1894?
Because I've done quite a few of them in certain neighborhoods.
And they're literally
November.
that year.
Yep.
Holy shit, 1894.
What's the oldest house you've done?
1894.
That's
probably why I remember it as well.
It's just because you hit that band in there, and it's just the soil in that area.
Is the house built in 1894? It's got to be more sturdy because they're probably stone, right?
They're usually brick, double width brick.
So I mean, they're
2x4s.
They're badass, but insulation-wise, they suck.
They do hardly any insulation at all.
Down in
But it'll take a tornado.
Southeast Denver is a place of people we had a glass house. And I said, what are you talking about? It was a brick that's glazed all the way through, so it's actually classified as glass.
Okay.
But it's a porcelain.
Glass bricks?
Yeah, like, well, not glass block. They look like a regular brick, but they're classified as glass because they're fired all the way through. Just like glass is. Anyway, that was the coldest damn place I've been. There was ice on the inside walls.
What's the best flooring for insulation? What do you think?
What do you mean, carpet or just
carpet, hardwood, tile? What do you think is the best for insulation?
I don't know, probably the way they do it. They put down a layer, a half-inch layer, then another layer on top before they put the floor down.
What material? Just the material.
Probably OSB. It's got the most air in it.
Probably what?
OSB.
I'd say tile.
Oh, you're talking about on top?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, I'm not talking the underlayment.
Oh.
I'm saying if you were building a home simply to keep heat and...
I think carpet, man, because you're talking padding plus carpet.
Padding, insulation.
Yeah.
I think carpet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, padding by definition is insulation.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about the material
It's like
underneath.
you're putting it in a cold floor basement and stuff. Carpet's going to be the best. You put
Yeah, I mean,
wood
true
or
tile, that's going to radiate. I mean, that's a relatively good conductor, from a temperature standpoint.
Porcelain tile, because it's glazed all the way through. They use that in the heated floors.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So it will radiate. Right.
Yeah, because it transfers the heat just like the porcelain walls in a house.
People who are struggling paycheck to paycheck.
That house was incredible. There was ice on the walls.
How's Gil doing? What's going on with Gil?
I haven't heard anything from Gil. Nothing. I guess that's good.
News is good news.
Yeah. I don't know. Did Tom ever come in and collect money?
Who?
The guy who moved in with Tom. He was supposed to collect $75.
I left at the front desk. Corey would have told me.
Okay. All right, Colorado Tinnitus and Hearing Center. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? If you do have problems hearing, or if you get that ringing in your ears, Dr. Patty, Dr. Lisa are about the best out there. These guys do everything. They'll do a hearing test. They'll even basically dispense a hearing instrument to best meet your needs. You get to try it. You got to make sure it's right for you. They can do adjustments. They can put you into something else. It's free. There's no obligation on the hearing device. Basically, you're taking a test drive. But if you've had a hearing aid for a long time, you might need a new one. You might be surprised where the technology has come. A lot of them are Bluetooth. You talk to them right on your phone. I mean, they're just incredible. The other thing is, with tinnitus, if you've had that ringing in your ears, they can actually, for some kinds, and only some kinds of tinnitus, pretty much get rid of it. In other words, solve your problem. It's a device. They hook it up, and basically you listen to it for, a few months, and it basically retrains your brain from that sound, and a lot of people say, hey, it solved my problem. I don't have tinnitus anymore. All right, so give them a call either way, 303-534-0163. You can go to helpforringing.com, but I suggest you call Dr. Patty, call Dr. Lisa. They're great people. Tom uses them. We know a lot of people that use them, and they're always happy. 303-534-0163. Okay, so we have a update. Deputy Clint, get on there. You called over to the storage place. I think it was called what is it called?
Green Box Storage?
Green Box Storage. It's a self-storage place over by, it looks like Bronco Stadium. And ultimately, the lady said, hey, I went in to pay my full amount, which I think she said was $500. They wouldn't let me pay it and said they're going to sell all my stuff on the 7th, which is in a few days. What did they say, sir?
One I need to talk to on there, but they just gave me the standard policy that when they get behind, it does have to be cash, and they can't accept a December payment if there's a November or one before.
Did she try to pay with a check or something, or you don't know?
He doesn't know for certain, but that's their standard thing. He said if it would have been cash, there's no way they'd have turned it down.
Well, okay, so even the day before, so your understanding, as long as it's not the day of the auction or even maybe right before, they will take cash and everything's good. Is that what you're understanding?
Yeah, they should be able to
reclaim it. So she just needs to get them paid. If she gets that information over to us, we'll simply look at the lease, and we'll look at the payment she made from her bank account and figure it out. Once again, it's all math. Now, in studio with me, by the way, real quick, one line open, 303-713-8255. Alvin, Travis, Kyle, you guys hold on. I promise I'll get right to you. But 303-713-8255. Wade Williamson, you're with Axiom Inspections. So you don't do just radon mitigation. You inspect the entire house.
That is correct.
During the break, you were saying 1894. There's a lot of homes that were built in 1894, or the oldest one you've done in Denver. What in a house built that long ago, you said they're generally dual brick, right?
Correct.
Do they tend to have more radon than a newer house, or it doesn't matter?
It doesn't matter whether it's an old 1894 house or a brand new construction.
Is it purely the area?
It is the area and the underlying geology underneath the home itself.
Of what's going on under there. So if one house has it, is there a good chance the house next door does?
And that's a common misconception that a lot of people do have. We've actually tested right down the street in brand new neighborhoods, 20 houses in a row, and 65% of the houses came back high, and the rest came back low. And so your neighbor could have a low level. Actually, my neighbor just put in a radon mitigation system. His levels were over the 4.0 picocuries, and the levels in my basement were at 1 picocurie.
Is the 4.0, is that when you need to get a system, or when it's suggested you get one?
That's what the EPA limit is, that they suggest you get a system in around 4.0.
What else do you guys do at Axiom? So we talked a little the first hour. If I go out and I'm selling or if I'm buying a house, you'll check everything.
We do. So we do full home inspections for home buyers and sellers during that real estate transaction to help the deal. We also do full commercial inspections.
So you'll look at the roof.
Yes.
You'll look at, of course, the radon. You'll put a test kit in there to see where it's at. And a lot of people don't get this. If it actually is over that 4.0 or even 3.0, you can do the mitigation system, but generally you can bargain with whoever's selling it to get that done, or simply not get in there.
That's correct.
So a lot of times it ends up costing you nothing. Do you do a lot of work for realtors? Do most of your jobs come from realtors?
About 30% of our business comes from realtors and realtor referrals, and the rest comes from the general public as they're buying the home.
What does long-time exposure to radon do? So let's say, we have a neighbor that just got a mitigation system put in, and I say a neighbor, they're a neighbor from our old neighborhood where we lived, but their level was well over 4, and his kid was living in the basement, and his kid has been having strange problems, is why they finally decided to get a test and do it, and they found out it was high. It's been mitigated since, but he was getting tired, he'd have a headache. Are these symptoms of radon?
Those typically aren't symptoms of radon. Radon is going to cause lung cancer, so it's the second leading cause of lung cancer.
But no headaches or anything like that, generally?
Generally, yes.
Wow.
That could be some other type of indoor air quality.
So how about, literally breathing problems, respiratory problems?
Correct.
And then what is a long term if someone doesn't know if they have radon and they've been in a basement or even their own house forever? It doesn't just in the basement, right? If you have a ranch house with no basement, can you still have radon?
That's a common misconception as well, that you only test if you have a basement, but if you're slab on grade, if your home's over a crawl space, you can have radon as well.
Oh, so even the crawl space could be bad.
Up to the second level of the home.
If it's a house that doesn't have a crawl space and it's a ranch, how do you mitigate?
You would create a subslab depressurization system, so they would actually go into the slab of the home and create a negative pressure to try and prevent as much of that radon from coming in the house as possible.
All right, Axiom Inspections, 303-482-1459. I always ask this question. How much does it cost if someone wants just the test? I mean, people listen and go, oh, well, I'd like to test it, but, if it's $5,000, I'm not going to do it.
So it's fairly inexpensive. Typically a test is $150.
Okay.
And that's a continuous monitoring test that would sit in the home for 2 days, 48 hours, and give a reading every hour of what those levels are, because they do fluctuate a little bit.
And then what does mitigation start at?
And mitigations are going to be an average of around $850 to $950 for a standard installation.
So like a basement.
For a basement. And then if you have a crawl space, it costs a little bit more because you actually have to seal that crawl space with a vapor barrier.
And if I'm buying a house, how much is an inspection? So not just the radon, but a full inspection. I want you looking at the furnace. Do you guys do that?
We do.
You look at the appliances, you look at the furnace, you look at what? The carpet, you look at the siding, you look at everything.
Look at everything on the house according to the InterNACHI standards of practice, and that includes everything from the electrical panel inspection, complete plumbing.
So you can look at these panels and tell if some of them are these out-of-date ones that need to be redone. That's a big deal. Some people will walk into a house, I mean, of course, all the electricity's running, but they don't realize, shortly they're going to be spending thousands of dollars to upgrade the panel.
We do. We look for those Federal Pacific and Zinsco panels, the older brands that have known to have problems.
That have problems, and a lot of people have no idea. They walk in, the breaker works, the lights are on. A lot of even inspectors, I'm going to say people miss stuff.
Yep.
I do want to talk at some point, what happens if someone uses you, and then there's something that was horrible? In other words, they look at you or one of your guys, they spend the money with you, and not just you, but most inspectors, and it turns out there was a problem with the roof. What happens? I want to know. 303-713-8255. Drew, I'm sorry, get on there. What were you saying? Okay, let's see. Let's do this. Let's take a quick break. I'm going to come back. We'll talk to Travis and Alvin and Kyle. I promise you guys are first. One line open, 303 Martino! But in the meantime, guess who was at our house a few weeks ago? Mitch Floria, Art of Granite. He's done our upstairs. He's done our downstairs in the mudroom. Then he just came out and cut the around our new stovetop. So this guy has come to our house 3 different times. Every single time, I couldn't be more happy. If you want the most beautiful stone, the biggest selection to choose from, and check this out. If he doesn't have exactly what you want, let's say you were at a yard somewhere, a granite yard, and you saw that exact stone you want, and he doesn't have the same stuff, he will actually allow you to use his wholesale account to purchase it. He makes money on the labor. He makes money on making that stone look like the most gorgeous thing you've ever seen in your house. And by the way, if you get the kitchen done, you'll get the bathroom for free. You're not going to beat that. But he's a great guy. He started doing granite way back. And in 2005, he opened Art of Granite. He's a great guy. Give him a call right now if you need granite, you need cabinets, you want the best-looking kitchen, and the best-looking bathrooms. Art of Granite. 303-386-5919, 303-386-5919, or artofgranite.net.
From the
I was ready to cough.
Wait, can you guys do asbestos testing too?
We do, so we're like,
Basically, spit on myself.
What about condos?
Yep.
How do the do?
They still need it, we still do them all the time, so.
And how do you know? I mean, whose responsibility is it if there's somebody above and below? Is it the HOAs?
Usually the HOA, so we'll do a drywall in, whatever the purchaser.
It's just like insurance, Daphne. Whatever the insurance that you would buy for your homeowners, she's going to do everything. Drywall in is exactly like you said.
So, you know, I have a
structure.
I have a gal that I've been working with, and she can't figure out what's going on. She's having breathing issues, but she thought it was mold or something because she had some leaking, but she's at the end of her rope.
Does she smoke?
She doesn't. No.
Yeah, no, that's carbon monoxide. I mean, there's so many things.
But it's, yeah, because it's near where her fireplace is, but the fire department came and they said that her furnace is not attached, I mean, and her furnace was fine, so no carbon monoxide.
But there's special caps, wind caps,
Mm-hmm.
are not, if you get the wrong cap on a chimney, they'll backdraft. So maybe.
Yeah, she's having a problem.
She would have carbon monoxide.
Are you recovering?
She would have carbon monoxide if it's background.
Well,
Yeah, but
I
she
told,
may just have exhaust.
the only thing she owns is this condo. She
Well, I
has
mean,
a
it's some
They tested for carbon monoxide and didn't have it, so.
I told her
Well,
she
what I'm
needs to
saying
file
is,
a claim
I've
with
had
her
that
insurance
problem, they
company
didn't test what
and have them
Do we have an update on Gil?
figure
No,
out what's
we don't
going on
know
and
anything. I
what
haven't
they
heard from him
cover.
at all.
So he's
You've
like,
lost
gone.
Gil?
I'll encourage her to
You
call.
lost Gil?
Yeah, I lost Gil.
Yeah, we could get some more.
Have you tried him in a while?
No.
Yeah, so
Let me
I'm,
text him, see what he does.
Gil is
I'll
gone?
give her your
Find
number
Waldo.
and tell her to call and that I had spoken to
Tom,
you.
the vapor
I
trail guy.
just,
I think
See,
Tom-
we
Tom
try
is
to-
out.
we're at our,
It's
I mean,
just
we're,
wild.
so as I'm listening to you.
So we
I'm
gave him a
like,
ride, we
if
gave
I
him a
actually
cell
had a mic,
phone,
I would have
we gave him
said,
$100
what about
bucks, we gave him a
condos?
place to live,
Because,
we gave him a
you know,
place to
it's
stay
not
for the
just-
first
people always
night,
think of houses,
and now we've lost Gil.
No, no.
but it makes
Well, I don't
sense
see anything going back for days on my
that,
phone.
yeah, condos and
I told him
everything
he,
would be.
Electrical and plumbing.
last I
environmental
talked to
issues
him,
like that.
he was gonna go with that
She
that
just,
silver.
yeah, she's
what was
like,
that,
I don't know what it is, I
silver-
don't know what's
silver
going
Yes.
on. And
He's back at the Marriott.
It's sad.
He went to the Embassy
She's such a
Suites.
sweet lady. She had a brain injury, and it's like all she has is this little home that
The
she
Wardolph.
and she's
He
trying.
is.
I couldn't believe he was staying at the fucking Marriott.
But the reason he was
Live,
staying there
and the
is because he
HOA
had those
treated her
points
like
and all that.
The points were good for a few free days. After that, you need to find something else.
They're just the worst, and people don't want to work with them because they won't pay. They'll use their own money against them. It's
Mark, what's up, Mark?
so I'm gonna have her give you a call.
I know, so what's it up right now?
Talk her
It
through it.
wasn't, it was like,
Go
oh,
out
look,
there, check it out, and see if there's anything we can do for it.
it's down?
Okay.
NASDAQ is
She's
up
like, I don't know what's
1.28%.
behind the wall.
88 points.
I
How
don't,
about the
I'm
Dow?
not, and I said, don't just have
53
anybody
points.
cut it open.
See, it was up
Then
100, then it
she
was
kept
down
saying,
around
"Well, you
30,
cost us
and now it's back up.
I said it needs to be.
Is there any
something-
news
so
associated?
You know, we've been dancing around this, and then
There's
she
job market
picked
threats
it
to
back
turn
up over the
too
holidays
hot
again, and I'm like,
2018. You know, I'm so,
The job
in
market's
the
too
last 2
hot?
weeks,
it
she's
says
been-
threats to be too hot.
What does that mean? How is the job market too hot?
Look, because I'm at
Not
enough
enough
people,
people.
not to get the workers.
And suck
Exactly.
out air from behind the wall and test it.
I mean, the
there's some
people
ways
that are
without-
bitching about
That means, I'll tell you what though, that means wages
Should I
go
give
up.
her your direct number, or?
Yeah.
And you talk to people,
What
people are so
number should I
ignorant.
give her?
American people are stupid. They're stupid. They do not
I know I could
know
look it up,
what a
but
tax
you're right,
increase
oh,
or
great.
decrease will do.
Thank you so much.
You hear all these companies, what they're going to do. They're going to start hiring. They're
I
going to
will
bring
have
money
her
in
give you a
from
call.
repatriate the money.
See if we can help her out.
It's going to
Yeah,
be huge.
poor thing. She's even
It's
had
gonna be
friends
big
spend
league.
the night that don't have any
It's gonna be
issues,
big league?
and
Big
they
league.
have problems.
Dan, the one I was
I know
talking
that
about,
is allergic
they've
to
been
several
trying for
types of
a year
mold.
to figure out
So,
why.
But if they had a constant CO monitoring,
It was, but they don't go off until it's too hot.
And
well, sure. I mean, there's those limits on it.
Yeah.
I mean,
They
it
don't
wasn't
have to
turn
turn
high,
off
and,
the mold behind the
we
wall.
had somebody out there.
Amazon is talking to advertisers about Alexa.
Never, I've always had.
What does that mean? That stupid thing will start talking to me like while I'm
About a
sleeping?
week in,
Lady in the office.
sitting
You need my
the
pillow.
seat that I usually sit in, you know, when I relax. meeting.
On Alexa.
My eyes started watering, it started.
How would that work though?
Maybe
Why
like if
people
you
don't
say
have
you buy
constant CO
sponges,
monitoring.
then it comes up and
Well, they
it
are.
says Clorox has a discount right now if you buy them with your sponges.
So now I'll go.
You know what I
Or
mean?
maybe she's just sensitive.
I mean, it
to
makes
that.
total sense.
Probably
Like
is.
if you go on
But
Amazon
if
and
you
buy
want to
anything,
complain,
it's going to advertise
We
something
put one
else.
in the office
To use
and the other
placement
right
of the
next to where
product
she's
search.
sitting.
Okay,
One
so
in
they're
the hallway
basically
right
saying
outside
for
the pharmacy.
searching, just,
Been
it's
going on for a
pay-per-click.
year.
Yeah, right,
Right,
exactly. It's basically paper.
And everything else. And finally, I got a guy out there.
All right, folks, 303-713-8255. The only show of its kind. We got a line open.
We got another death wobble comment. That's crazy. And then that second guy called up. If you don't know what we're talking about, we had a call on Friday. A guy has a death wobble, has a 2017 F-250. And basically, we have video of it we'll have up, but it's unbelievable. It's absolutely unbelievable. And then we had another call today, same vehicle, and what's even more curious, both of them, it both started at what, Mike?
20,000 miles.
Around 20,000 miles. Ford's got a little issue here. I bet they figure it out. But I guess every manufacturer is going to go through this at some point. We were talking during one of the breaks way before. You guys remember the Firestone tire deal. I was in the Goodyear business for a while, so, I mean, it didn't affect us with the Firestones, but Ford and Firestone had a couple of blowouts and rollovers, and people died on it, and there was lawsuits and money. I think eventually, I want to say it came down to Firestone, but I don't remember. I don't remember if it was more the tire's fault or the manufacturer Ford's, or maybe it just literally was a combination of the size and the vehicle. But I don't know. I'll have to look at it. Clint, you remember everything. Do you remember?
Yeah, I do. That Ford and Firestone, it was mostly on some of their bigger SUVs that they were having this problem. And they really
well, I think it was just, if I recall, it was just the
low tire pressure.
No, I think it was the Bronco, though. It might have been low tire pressure. Ultimately, the door jamb should have said something higher, and the tire should have taken it better, or something. But I think it was just one of their vehicles. Maybe just the Bronco.
I think it was the Expedition.
Maybe that was
it. Was the big one.
It was one of those vehicles. But Travis, what is your comment on the death wobble?
2015 F-250.
Yep.
That's the same you talked about.
You know, I can barely hear you, man. Can you take me off Bluetooth?
Yeah, you're not on Bluetooth.
No, I can't, brother.
No.
I got to drop him. I mean, I don't know what to say. I hate that. He's probably got a great comment. All I heard was F-250. I mean, that's literally all I heard. So call back when you get closer. 303-713-8255. I'm going to try this one more time. Alvin, let me see if I can hear you this time.
Can you hear me, Mark?
Way better. How are you trying to help out Pastor Lauren?
Hey, I'm going to tell you, hey, before I tell you that, though, I also had that death wobble.
Yeah.
I had a SUV. It was an Infinity.
An Infinity SUV?
Yeah, it was a QX4 Infinity, and it was doing the same thing, and you'd just be driving on the highway, and it starts that wobble real bad, and you have to...
What did you do to get rid of it in yours?
It was the lower and the upper bushing, just replaced those, and that fixed it.
Oh, interesting. That goes to prove it could be anything. All right, so go ahead. How are you trying to help out Pastor Lauren?
So, you know, Pastor Lauren, I mean, he's one of the nicest guys you can see, and I know you remember the church because I think you guys volunteered there doing Thanksgiving, and so I go back and I volunteer around Christmas time.
Yes.
Help them out in the church, and they have that huge food.
Okay, I'm going to drag this out of you because we got about a minute, so you got to speed it up, sir.
Okay, well, they need help fixing their shelter, and I think it's something simple.
Where is the shelter?
The shuttle, that little bus they use to bring people.
Oh, the shuttle! I had to drive that wonderful vehicle. Lord have mercy! What's wrong with it? What's not wrong with it?
Simple. It just wouldn't start. I think they got something going on with the battery because when I helped them out picking up kids, bringing them in to get food and gifts.
Can you get it going to get it to a shop though?
I don't know. I might can see if I can.
We might be able to get one of our tow truck guys to help out, but
You should help Pastor Lauren. He's such a good man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Mark, you see the kind of food they give away. I don't want people to think.
No, I understand. I'll press it. I'll push it next hour. Hold tight. I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
I drove that vehicle. Talk about the death wobble. Oh my God. It was insane. Now, all this guy does is good for people. I'll explain when we come back. 303-713-8255. We've got a lot going on. Kathleen, apparently her landlord changed the lease, and it's no longer Section 8. We'll figure out what that's about and a lot more. 303-MARTINO, 303-713-8255. We'll be back.
80% of Fortune 500
was absolutely fucking scary.
Did you have a death wobble?
Death wobble too.
No death, I wouldn't drive that thing fast.
Wobble.
So here I am. It's literally an old.
Like a van front end?
No, it's what's the bus around here? God, I have it today. RTD. It's an old RTD wheelchair access minibus. So it's a minibus. It's only got like 3 seats in it because it's got this big wheelchair thing in it.
Wheelchair lift. Yep.
So I'm picking people up at the shelter, bringing them back, and they're all standing. Half of them are drunk, half of them are this, and anytime I turn, they go falling over. I mean, it was unbelievable, man.
This sounds like a lawsuit.
Finally, I'm like, everybody's got to sit down. My kid's with me. My kid's going, oh my God. It was the worst vehicle to drive.
They don't have
And it would keep stalling on me, which sucked.
But no seats on that. I mean, can you imagine you hit someone? It would be a...
You know, Mark, that'll keep your kid from school. Shit. I had to take my son up one time to a place. I was an adjuster. They had rolled a bobcat into a sludge pit. You know what? Rendering plants, all the stuff they don't use on the cow, goes into a pit that they let it dry out.
That's good. That's hot dogs, baby.
Yeah, well, it becomes fertilizer. But they rolled the bobcat into this pit. I get there, it's still in a damn pit. And I'm going, I'm not going to let this thing upside down. So they got like 1 million of these day workers with wheelbarrows and shovels shoveling this muck out of the pit, carrying it and throwing it up into dump trucks. And my son said, I wouldn't do that for $1 million. I said, if you don't stay in school, you'd be doing it for minimum wage.
Yeah, right.
He never forgot that, man.
Minimum wage goes up this year, too.
Yeah, but God, that stuff, it was covered with flies and stuff. I haven't.
Go work on a farm.
Yeah, I'm still trying to imagine Mark driving a bus.
Next to the crib?
Dude,
It was a pleasure.
It's a mini bus, but it's literally one of their accessorides.
But people can't sit.
I should have went by Dan's and picked them up.
That's a lawsuit waiting to happen.
Oh God, man! I could get probably the biggest load I had was probably 12 people.
But they were all standing up, huh?
No, 6 of them could sit down. There was 3 seats.
But the rest were standing.
Well, I made them sit on the floor eventually.
You found your way back.
The one
Some
guy,
people don't.
the scariest part is the one guy
I have to
started
go out and
freaking
find
out.
them, and they're like,
He's down there like he's having a seizure, and I'm thinking, oh Christ, what do I do?
It's mouth to mouth.
oh my God! And Mark would have to carry one of those kits with the little mouth thing that you put over.
I gotta
We
tell you,
used to have on the airplane.
I hate to say it, but he probably, if it came down to that, he'd be dead. Yeah. I
would expect that.
Down there, the Lysol, you know.
Yeah, exactly. It was the Lysol that killed him. Mark sprayed so much.
Mark, he was sleeping. It's okay.
What did he die from?
This guy was like, he was foaming at the mouth, he was kicking around, and I stop it and I look back and I go, you know, everybody in there is. So I'm just going, what the hell do I do? I mean, I'm thinking, okay, how do I get to the hospital? I'll just drop them off at the emergency room.
Slow down to 5 miles an hour.
And then he popped up and he goes, oh man, okay, that's better.
That was a bad one. That was a bad one.
You know, that happens a lot, kicking them out the door at the hospital at Denver General.
Yeah, it
Denver
does.
General.
Well, when I was a flight attendant, about halfway through my career, they finally started carrying.
Let's see if our tow company won't tow that over somewhere to look at. I don't, but we need to call someone to have them. I don't know who will look at it.
One time I was about ready to do CPR, had the person laying in the aisle, we had to put the beverage cart away. And this woman tapped me on the shoulder, and she said, excuse me, I didn't get my Diet Coke. And I said, next time you're
Who do we have tomorrow?
about ready to need CPR, I promise to ignore the person that just asked me that stupid question.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, this person was going into full cardiac arrest, and you have to be mentally ready to.
Or she said, this isn't diet, this is
People really, I can't. Oh, and then the people that go barefoot into the bathrooms.
What?
Yeah.
I mean, they take their feet off, their shoes off in the thing, and then they just walk in the bathroom barefoot?
Yes. Have you ever noticed how the bathrooms have a green tinge to them? They were originally yellow, but when they pull the blue water out and then they put it back in, sometimes you hear this, and you're like, and you open the bathroom door and it's all blue. They have to come in and clean it because it went the wrong way. There are flight attendants that will not use the bathrooms. Depends. Sorry, flight attendant friends. No, they don't. don't. I've never heard of them using it. I would have, you know what? When they said that about Times Square, I never would have thought of doing that.
I heard that.
That would have been my...
Guys, little airplanes, it's not the pants, but they just carry the child diaper and just stick it down their pants. You know those things, the stuff go... I had to use them once. We were stuck on top of clouds, but it goes through that layer, and it forms a gel.
Yes.
And there's no moisture in them. There's nothing. It just...
When I was a clown, I had a trick where I put this
When you were a clown,
I was a professional clown.
Yeah,
you put this powder in the bottom of a cup, and you do this magic trick where you pour the water in, and then you tip the glass upside down, and
Did you get those edited?
From the...
Did you get those edited posts?
But yeah, I had to go and
get probably the same gel stuff that they use in the dry.
It is the same stuff, but I didn't have to cut open diapers. I could actually buy it in the jar.
We were on our way to Oshkosh, Wisconsin. We went on top of the clouds, and it was supposed to be clear on the other end. I wasn't nice from a raid, so we couldn't come down below. We were stuck up there for about 3 hours. And, you know, as you go up, and the air density goes less, your interior pressure goes up, and you got to go.
Yeah.
We were both stuck. My wife was the one that thought about it.
Hanging out the window.
Harry's.
I'm laying down. I'm laying down. As long as you're laying down 2 in a row in that thing, so you can't even sit up to use a porta john.
Well, that's the other thing. Men standing in the bathroom and turbulence hits.
Yeah, right.
You know what? In our own bathroom in the house, there's no turbulence, and sometimes it's everywhere. And you're like,
I know. I can't figure that out either.
She was a stewardess for years.
I know.
Flight attendant. He does that. He does that, and he calls them Porsche. Porsche.
How's your homeless lady was just thinking about
I told her she's not allowed to call.
Do you know women actors? Do you know actresses want to be called actors now?
They are actors.
Oh, Christ.
They're actors. You can call them an actress, but the actual term is actor.
Well, what is actress?
It's the feminine, but you can call. They are.
Listen here, flight attendant.
I'm a flight attendant.
No, you're a stewardess.
I was a flight attendant.
Let me look at the definition of stewardess.
Look at that.
Stew.
We had somebody
sexually harassed lots by pilots and by
a woman who is employed to provide meals for and otherwise look after passengers on a ship or aircraft.
Well,
were you not a stewardess? I'm sorry.
Read the
were
term,
you not a stewardess?
Read flight attendant.
I can't believe she's saying
medically trained. Yeah. Yes,
a woman. And maybe she doesn't believe the dictionary. Is that possible?
Actually, they were.
Is the Troubleshooter show.
I'll explain it to you later.
A woman flight attendant.
K-How. Welcome to the show, the only show of its kind. We're here to solve problems, answer questions, take your complaints, try to figure out the English language, and much, much more. The reason I say that is Deputy Daphne joins us in studio, and for years before, how far back were you a stewardess? How long ago? How long ago were you a stewardess, and who did you fly for?
Yeah, it's been 27 years.
Yeah, a long time ago.
Original Frontier and then Continental.
But anytime I say to her, you were a stewardess, if we're talking airlines or something, and I remind people Daphne was a stewardess, guess what she says?
I was a flight attendant.
I was a flight attendant, not a stewardess. So I look up stewardess. I Google it. Here's what it says. Here's the definition of stewardess. A woman who is employed to provide meals for and otherwise look after the passenger on a ship or aircraft. Is that not what you did?
Yes, but we are medically trained back when they originally...
Why is it a bad thing? Why did stewardess become a bad thing, I guess is what I'm trying to figure out.
It's when men started becoming stewardesses.
Wouldn't they be stewards?
They didn't call them that. I can't remember what they called them, but they needed to have one word.
It sounds like one of these feminist movements is where it changed.
Come on, flight attendants, call in.
It would be a steward. I mean, honestly, it would be a male as a steward, and then the stewardess would be the female. I guess flight attendant is all there. But the other thing is now actresses, I guess, are technically actors.
Yes.
Which I still find. I like, when did this stuff change and why? Meantime, Alex has a question for Axiom. inspections. They're in-house today. They're on the referral list at referrallist.com. Alex, what's your question?
Well, Happy New Year to everybody. I wanted to find out about what the home inspectors do as far as furnace inspections.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. I mean, do you actually get down? Do you look at the heat exchanger, at least what you can see? How in-depth does it get?
Yeah, according to the standards on a furnace, that's going to inspect it according to normal operating controls. So they're going to activate that furnace using the thermostat. They're going to typically check for gas leaks.
So a little CO2 meter.
CO2 meter and combustible gas leaks as well for natural gas. Check and make sure that the shutoff valves are configured properly. And the heat exchanger is mostly not visible during the time of the inspection.
Generally speaking, yep.
So they're going to look at what they can at the front, usually the first 1 to 2 inches of that, to try and see what condition that is in. And then run it through the full operation to test to make sure that the exhaust fans as well as the blowers are all working properly.
Wade, let me ask you this. How much does that cost for the full home inspection? Hold on a second, Alex.
Full home inspection for a standard house is going to about a 2,000 square foot average house is about $330.
Oh, that's cheap. That's way cheaper than I thought.
It's very reasonable.
And you'd be crazy not to get an inspection now in a new house. Alex, you got any other questions for Wade?
I do. So on the fan motors, do you check the amp draw on them to make sure that they're running at the proper amp draw?
You do not.
Check each of the safety devices that are on the furnaces?
You do not. So it's a visual inspection only doing by normal operating controls. So we do not use any electrical meters on the furnace itself.
Alex, here's what I did, and I'm not kidding. When Suzanne and I looked at our new house out in Franktown, I had a home inspector come out, like Wade, and he looked over everything. I also had Plumbline come out, and they charged me $29. They got in depth like you're talking about, but I had them out to look at the plumbing, the electrical, and the HVAC. So I paid them 29 times 3, but it was the best thing ever. They gave me stuff at that point where I could go negotiate with the guy that was selling it. So I actually suggest doing that. You got to have a guy like Wade come out and Axiom Inspections, but I also suggest if it's older than what would you say, Wade? If it's 10 years old, even though you're checking all the basics, wouldn't you suggest you get an HVAC guy out there?
We usually do recommend that. Anything over 10 years old, or if we find any small issue with that, we will highly recommend that you get a more in-depth HVAC.
Are you in the business, Alex? Is that why you called in?
I am, and I always wondered what they checked because I always get the, when I go out and do home inspections after a home inspector has been there, when I go and do a furnace inspection,
yeah, they missed it.
I never knew exactly what they checked for.
Yeah.
It always says clean and inspect, and I'm not sure exactly what they're talking about cleaning because, dust around the burner area, things like that doesn't affect the
big deal.
The furnace. So yeah, because a month later, dust is going to be there again.
Yeah.
So,
no, I agree with you there, but it's that's what I did. I had Plumbline look at everything, man. I had them look at my water heater. I had them look at the plumbing. I had them look at the well. I had them look at the pump. I had them look at the pressurization. Then they went through every panel. They looked at the barn. They did everything, man. It was probably the best $90 you could spend.
Yeah, especially people that buy houses, they usually don't get the air conditioners inspected at all. They'll have the furnace inspected by a mechanical person, but the air conditioner is more expensive to replace than the furnace in most cases.
Man, ACs aren't cheap.
Yeah, so so a lot of times it's I'm always kind of amazed that they want a furnace inspection by a mechanical person, but they don't get the air conditioning inspected.
Yeah, no, you should. You definitely should. All right, thanks, man. 303-713-8255. One line open, 303-Martino, 303-713-8255. Kathleen, what's going on? Kathleen, you're up.
Oh, yes. Okay. I was on housing in Colorado Springs, excuse me, and I came down to La Junta and looked at some houses, and there was one for $400 a month, utilities paid. So we paid $400 that month, and she said that would cover the utilities, and she had used that for the deposit.
Okay.
I got here, paid $400, and she handed me the lease that she had written up herself, and it showed that they pay utilities, and so then 2 days before I was to sign the lease with housing and her, housing called me and told me that.
So this is, hold on, is this government subsidy too? Is this Section 8?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so your share is just the $400, correct?
Well, no, actually, Actually, I only pay $113 now.
Oh, wow.
But they changed the lease because then I was supposed to pay utilities.
Okay, back up, sweetheart. Hey, Kathleen, hold on. So I'm understanding. Your share was $113 a month on the original lease that she hand wrote, right?
At that time, I didn't have to pay anything because I was only making $189 a month, so they paid all the housing. And then she made me responsible for utilities, like 2 days warning.
Okay, but you didn't sign the lease saying that they were going to pay the utilities. Is that correct?
It was the same lease. They handed me that, and then 2 days before I was supposed to sign
it, they changed it.
I got a call that it was changed.
Okay.
And I was very, very sick. I had a bowel resection, and I was trying
Kathleen,
to
though, listen, here's what I'm trying to figure out. Did you ever sign a lease with them that said, better yet, did they sign a lease with you?
No.
Okay.
No, that they put in the $450, and then housing told me to initial where they changed, and I did. I was
okay,
very
Kathleen,
sick,
hold on. I know you've been holding a while. Hold on a second. I got to take a break, but Suzanne, do me a favor. What I need to figure out is she living there now? I just need the basics from her. Just have her focus a little more. 303-713-8255. I got to tell you about Pro Auto Care in Alaramas, one of the best guys down there. If you need your vehicle worked on, you go to Pro Auto. They always have a good special, and I'm gonna actually make up a special that's gonna blow you away, and it's only gonna be for like the first 10 at each store. But here's one of the reasons you go to Pro Auto, okay? They do everything. If you've got a new vehicle and you need to do your 30, 60, 90,000 mile checkup, they can do them for way less than the dealer. If it's wintertime now and you want to go down there and get your cooling system checked, get it flushed, they do it. They do everything the dealers do. They even do transmissions, they do engines, they do everything. And by the way, using them is not going to void any warranty. All it's going to do is save you money. Here's a new customer deal for you, okay? And Suzanne, make sure you text this over to Al and the gang. If you go in there, we're going to call it the Pro Pack because that's what Al always does. Let's say you don't have good wiper blades on right now, and of course we're in winter. He's going to put on wiper blades. He's going to do a lube oil filter with the good oil. He uses the semi-synthetic stuff from Kendall. It's great oil. So you got the oil change, you got the wiper blades, and he's going to rotate your tires. They'll check the cooling system. They're going to top off all your fluids. They're going to make sure your vehicle's in great condition. You ready? $24.95. You can't buy that for the parts. Wiper blades can cost that much. If Al gets mad at me, tell him I apologize. But honestly, $24.95, wiper blades, lube oil filter, tire rotate, top off the windshield washer fluid, top off the cooling system, top off all the reservoirs. Look at everything. You're not going to get a better deal. Pro Auto, 303proauto.com, but give them a call. Only the first 10, 303-PRO-AUTO, 303-PRO-AUTO, or 303proauto.com.
From the L&L Heating and Air Conditioning Traffic
For the most part, the highway drive and the metro...
To stewardess.
Went from
then
where?
went air hostess to stewardess. Then when they started hiring men, because remember it used to exclusively only be women.
So she did initial for the change. So she signed the lease. They come back 2 days later after she's moved in. Says you also got to pay for utilities, and I think this is the housing.
And that's why she was getting in. She was sick.
Yeah. And she said, I didn't know I was signing with initially when
So
I
how
was
much
sick.
of the utilities?
I don't know. I just was getting. I thought that was the basic she needed.
Income of $189 a month.
Whole thing. I don't
How do you
know.
live on $189 a month?
Well, it's not even that. And she spends $113 on this.
How does she?
So they started calling them
how she lives.
stewardesses.
Well, first of all, it's
And
100.
then
It's not Denver. It's way cheaper.
they started hiring men, and they called men pursers. Well, pursers are above stewards. Which
So
made them
then
look like
well,
they were.
have
So
have a
the
surprise
women
18th
fought
birthday
back,
party
and
for him,
it
and he
became
wants to go to that. I
which
think
is
he needs to
neutral.
double check with you
And
because
now
that's my
the
Santa Fe.
purser,
So you cool with that? I'm
Where
okay
is
with that.
like
At
on
Jordan's house.
United, it's called a
In Red
purser.
Hawk.
That's the one who oversees all the flight attendants.
Okay.
At Continental, I was the flight service manager. I was overall the flight.
You were the top stewardess?
Pursers were on ships and also trains.
Right, and pursers are above stewards, and so when they started hiring men and they called them pursers.
Well, the men should have been over the women anyhow.
Why do they call them
Just
stewards?
because they like it on top, that has nothing to do with this.
And the Airbus 320 is like
my mom was an active feminist in the 60s, so I always bust her.
Oh yeah, you always. That, and I noticed how you cut me off before I got you on the Porsche.
The new Airbus 320 doesn't have a yoke in front of it. It has a side stick. It has a tray table that folds out. And it says weight limit 130 pounds. And I asked, why the hell would the thing hold 130 pounds? He says, because we have to keep the flight attendant weight down. That's the answer you get
how
from
some words.
Yes.
Change.
Talk about if there was sexual harassment, the jokes.
They changed the meaning of it as well. You're right. Like retarded literally means you're slow.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden it became like not acceptable to use it to describe. So what's the difference between saying, oh, he's slow and he's retarded?
Well,
There's really no difference.
Dumb, and blind.
Yeah.
I mean, dumb was the word they used.
Yeah, that's another good one. Why not, if you call someone dumb, if it's simply because they can't speak, that's really the definition of it.
I cannot believe they haven't changed the Dumb Friends League, because I can't believe animal activists haven't freaked out about that.
These animals are I said to my kid, I'll never forget this. This is when they were little, and they were learning about Helen Keller, and I said, well, she's dumb. And they're like, oh my God, Dad, you can't say that. I said, no, literally, she can't talk. She's dumb. No. They didn't even associate with the actual what it meant at the beginning.
The word, has totally.
Or like the pinball wizard.
Lord. Oh,
and
yeah,
when did Oriental become bad?
When the carpets came out.
Because you got to have faith, because you got to have faith.
See, I got to tell you, though, that song right here is basically that other song just redone. No matter how you look at it, and it drives me nuts, does that not sound like You Want to Have Faith?
Yeah, the Limp Bizkit song.
What?
Yeah, it's
My God, spit it out, man.
The new one, anyway.
Mikey knows the song.
What song
You're
is
just
it?
the only person that doesn't, Mark.
I know, George Thorogood? No, George Harrison.
It was definitely George Thorogood.
George Michael. It's a George. I know the first part, George. You know, I had to actually hit the dump button on myself one time. You remember that, Drew? Was that one of your better moments?
Oh, yeah.
So, Drew was saying, God, you're so out of date, you don't even know your music, that's 20 years old, you think it's a couple years old. And I made the comment, I said, well, they were just over there playing it in Vesco Field. Well, I guess it hasn't been in Vesco Field for how long?
Couple minutes anyway.
I mean, 4 or 5 years now.
4 or 5 years, and this was like a month ago. And as soon as he said that, and I realized he's right, like I'm trapped in this time warp somewhere, I said, I can't say it now, nor will I, but I actually dropped the F-bomb, and I had to bleep myself. Has that ever happened before, Drew, where a host actually does that?
Sure, it has. You were the first one to have it happen to me, though.
Lucky me. I just couldn't believe it, and I really just said it under my breath, like, I can't believe he's right. 303-713-8255. Kathleen, okay, Suzanne updated me. Basically, you did sign a lease that included that the apartment complex or the apartment or the place would cover the utilities. But then you actually initialed the change in the lease that says they're not going to cover it. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so you acknowledge you did sign for the difference. I don't know why you did that. I think where you were going is you were very sick.
I'm disabled.
Okay.
That's why I have housing.
Okay.
That's why you have to keep me on task. My medicine makes me ramble.
No, it's no problem at all. So here's what I'm trying to figure out. How much are your utilities?
Well, they were $300.
Oh my God.
And this woman went behind my back to housing and tried to get $700 for this place by applying for a reasonable accommodation for me with my disabilities and without my knowledge.
Well, okay. I mean, none of that's going to matter because you signed off on it. It sounds like, how much do you bring home each month, average, Kathleen, or how much do you get?
I just got my SSI in October.
Good.
And so I get $750 right now.
$750, but and your rent now is how much? Is it still the $113 for the base?
Yes.
Okay. But then you're saying the utilities now are $300.
Yes, sir. And then they changed it. They had a meeting, and I think they wanted me to go along with the $700 thing.
Yeah.
And she just widened it out and changed. The owner pays the gas.
Well, I think you need to find a different place.
Well, I am, but I can't afford to move, and I'm in this lease until the 21st of May, or 31st of May.
Do you think the housing knows that she changed that?
Yes, they're the one that told me to initial it.
The housing?
And yes.
Oh, my God. Section 8.
She was filing with housing for a reasonable accommodation for me.
Is this because you said something? First of all, what is your disability? I'm curious.
Well, I have an extreme depression situation, and then I have something that's my heart slows down too much.
All right, fair enough.
Then and then hepatitis C I caught from work.
Okay, so you've got multitude of problems. But did you said you just started getting SSI. When did you first start getting it?
I got it in October.
Okay, is maybe the reason they changed it because you were getting more income than you used to?
No, they did that in June, on June 26th, and then they backdated it to the 1st, so I had to pay utilities that much.
But once,
I didn't notice
listen to my question, Kathleen. Is the reason it went up have anything to do with the fact you started getting SSI and more money?
Oh, yes, that's the reason why I pay more base rent.
Well, how much is the base rent now?
It's $113.
How much was it?
Before, well, I only made $189 a month, and I didn't pay any rent here.
Anything. I understand. So the $750 is where the $113 comes in. Well, I mean, if you're telling me the housing or Section 8 actually is the one that said you had to start paying the utilities, I don't know what to tell you because they're the ones doing the calculation.
Yeah, well, she changed it. Do
you want us to call over there? How can I help you? Let's just go there. What can I do to try to help you?
Well, I have receipts where I've been paying gas the whole time. They just change it. If you can call them, and I didn't.
What does that mean? You've been paying the whole time? Okay, here's what we're gonna.
How long? I have a receipt that says gas and electric and water.
Yeah.
So I've been paying the gas all that time. They just changed it that day at the meeting.
Okay, hold on a second. Kathleen, I'm sorry. Hold on a second. Suzanne, I want to help her, but we're going to have to help her off air. So let's.
Alrighty.
I mean, what am I supposed to say here? I don't even know what we can help her. She's now telling me that she has been paying it. See what we can do there. And she made me think of something. And then free that line up. 303-713-8255. I have had multiple emails, including one a few hours ago, that says we want an update on Gil. So we don't know where Gil is now. So let me tell you the story. We lost Gil. We get a call, and basically Gil was at the Marriott, and he was getting kicked out. He wasn't going to have a place to live. This was a couple weeks ago, and that particular day was really cold. So ultimately, we helped him out, and I'll tell you what we did, but I still can't believe he was at the Marriott. He had some points because he was a platinum member with the Marriott, so he had a couple nights free there, but then he stayed there for like 12 nights without paying. Finally, the hotel manager basically locked him out of there. He called the show up. I went down to meet him, but he was nowhere to be found. I thought I was going to go down and meet him, but they already got rid of him. When he first called in, they didn't tell us, or he didn't tell us that he was no longer there. I went down to meet him and vet him and see if we could help, and he wasn't there. Then he calls back, and Deputy Clint ends up going down, picking him up. Where did you pick him up at? Where did you meet him? You got to turn the mic on.
South Glen Library.
And then we bought him a cell phone so he could call us because he was using the library's phone, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what else did we do?
That night took him to the Days Inn because we didn't have a spot for him, and then the next day picked him up and took him over to
one of our listeners.
Yeah, one of our listeners.
Now, one of the listeners was actually renting where he was, and he didn't have permission for the landlord, and basically the landlord caught wind of this, so the landlord said, I don't want him staying there till I can meet him, so we put him up in the Days Inn, then he was there, and then we've lost Gil. Oh, plus we gave him $100. So follow me down here. Here's where I'm going with this, and then I'm going to give you an update on another one. But he calls up. I have no idea, you know, if he has a ride, if he has a place, he's going to get a job. That's why we decided we'd go try to help. So we give him $100. A gift card to King Soopers, so, you know, he can't buy liquor and stuff, although I don't think he's a drinker at all. So we give him $100. We get him a cell phone so he can basically have communications and try to get a job. And then we were trying to find him a place, and now he's gone. I mean, this is our typical deal. Now, Deputy Daphne, let's talk about the lady with the car. What was her name? Honestly, what's her name?
Terry?
Was it Terry?
Yes.
So she calls up. She tells us, hey, I'm down on my luck. I'm homeless. I'm living by myself. And if I only had a car, I have a job lined up.
Hey, you offered her the car,
I'm just walking it down. I'm just saying here. She had me convinced. Well, I'm not even going to go into it. She's basically saying, no, you're wrong. That's not how it went down. I know how this went down. So she says, if I had a car, I have a job with UPS. And I'm thinking, okay, and I'm skeptical. So I go, you know what? Okay, if we give her a car and everything checks out, I'll give her a car. We've got a car, I'll give her one. And I said it in a way like, I doubt this will ever work out. So Daphne gets on it, you contacted her, and then what's the first thing we found out? She doesn't have a driver's license.
Yes.
What's the second? Then
ask her that.
Then, yeah, okay. You know, when people tell me they need a car, and if they have a car, they can get a job, next time I'll remember to ask, do you have a driver's license? Then we find out, not only doesn't she have a driver's license, she never had a driver's license. In her entire life, she's never had one. So Daphne decides, this is great, that she's going to go down and she's going to take the test. So somehow she's going to find someone to drive her down there. Remember, she's
She said she had someone to take her, and she had a date set up.
And she had money to buy insurance, right?
She had money in the bank.
Because she had money in the bank. So she was going to get insurance. She was going to pay for the car to be registered. She was going to go down with a friend. She was going to pass a driving test, which she's never taken in her life. Then we were going to give her the car. This was all going to start on, I believe, the 11th of December. All this was going to go down,
Correct.
right? Yeah. So, but what happened?
I guess the gal
I
that
guess
was
she didn't
supposed
show
to
up.
take her
I guess she didn't
was
show up.
sick. It didn't happen. And so finally, the way I left it, I said to Terry,
Yep.
I can do nothing for you until you get your driver's license.
Oh, it was
so call us when you have it, and we haven't heard.
I felt so bad for her, just like Gil. The problem is, you start trying to help, and this isn't with everybody, although this is how it seems to be. You start trying to help, and they don't want to help themselves. I mean, what can I can't go down there and literally pick her up and teach her how to drive and do her. It's insane. But she didn't even show up for the driving test. If you were looking at getting a free car, wouldn't you show up for the driving test? God, what is the deal?
She needed someone to have a car that she could do the driving test in.
And then Home Depot parking lot. Home Depot parking lot, we get a call. I give her a gift card. Actually, Tom was doing it. We're going to give her a gift card. You know what happens? Do you know what happens?
Was this Terry?
She didn't know. It wasn't Terry. She didn't have a phone call. They didn't have a car.
Oh, this one's mine.
In the damn, and she was like in a different, not a different state, but a long ways away.
Jody, yeah, she's like
and
up
then
in Fort Lupton or something.
We're like, we're going to mail you a gift card. Well,
I don't have an address.
I don't have an address. I'm homeless. So I'm going, okay, then what are we going to do? Is there any way you can drive it to me? No.
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 Yeah, it's the day before Christmas.
It was, and it's like, I don't know.
What about the dog?
Oh, you guys want to hear a good update? We're going to talk about the dog. So this was a dog. Oh, you're bringing up the good ones today. We're going to talk about the dog that was in cars totaled. Suzanne's nose got broke. We've got other injuries. All kinds of stuff is going on. He said, Mark, I want you to relax. You guys need to get better. I'm going to be on the case. And I'll tell you what, that was about, Suzanne, how long ago was that? 18, 19 months ago.
Yep, July of 2016.
July 2016, I put John Fuller on the case. He got us maximum. In other words, every nickel that insurance policy those other people could pay out, we got. At first, they didn't even want to come close to paying that much. John kept saying, you know what, then we'll go to court, we'll go to court. They gave us the minimum, or the absolute maximum. If you want someone that'll fight for you and fight for your damages, John Fuller. Simple as that. If you've been hurt in an accident, you call John Fuller. John R. Fuller's at 303-597-4500, 303-597-4500, or you can check him out at referralist.com.
On the Fox Business Network, the major averages are...
Once again, I start feeling like I got a cough when I talk to you. No, if I have a cough drop, you hear it. You're going to slug some water.
Terry, I think I got a better one. We asked her if she could drive a stick. Yeah. And she said she could drive the stick, but then she forgot to say if she didn't have a license.
You bring up a hell of a good point. How would she learn to drive a stick if she's never had a license?
Did you ever do anything illegal before you were...
Oh, I forgot too. No, the best part about her offering found out, here's where you messed up. Once we found out she never had a license, the entire story was her entire story was flawed. Oh God, he's out back outside again. Gil.
Oh, and Terry was outside.
Gil. He's outside.
You gave him a phone to keep in touch with her.
Here's the problem with Gil that drives me crazy. He gets $2,000 a month.
You'll be getting it on tomorrow, the 3rd. 3rd or 6th.
So you should move to La Junta, where you can get a place for $137. In a couple of days. You know what Denny's means?
Place to stay. It's not the Marriott.
Next to Denny's.
It's so funny. My grandpa used to live in La Junta and would always stay at La Quinta.
La Quinta in La Junta. $17 a night. Includes free continental breakfast. La Deniola. God, we got sucker this year.
I think I heard about some girl showed up with a little birdie kid with her. Mom was telling me about it.
Oh, wait, was that the one who went down, the homeless girl, down in,
Pretended she was pregnant, had a little birdie kid that was pregnant.
No, that was the people that he gave candles to. Remember you went down there?
You know what? I got to say this. Yes. That was absolute. In fact, I'm going to bring that up. That we legitimately helped her without trying to change anything. That was a real deal. That's how you help these people. That is a perfect example of how you help these people.
one, the one in Castle?
One, I brought my daughter down.
Yeah.
Addie and I drove down to Colorado Springs. I'll tell you about it on there.
And then I had to call social services.
Yeah, that's right. But that had nothing to do with her. That had nothing to do with her.
Right.
That was crazy. God, I forgot about that part of it.
Yeah. No, it's not.
It's so depressing.
Sleeping down in next to the river. I mean, it's like they literally have campsites out there.
That's how this was.
Yeah.
This one, if you exited, I'm trying to think what exit there was.
Academy.
There's the King Supers if you go west. It's kind of up there all by itself, and then there's this huge field and gully next door.
I can remember.
Down in the gully is like, you know, I'm saying, okay, how do I get there? She's drawing me this map. It's not like, you know, I've got an address to put. She's like, we'll see a big oak tree, and next to the oak tree's a gully, and 3 feet down in the gray tent.
I marked it on Google Maps and had to get the sheriff's department to it. By telling them.
Think of a Screaming Hill if you want to do one. Maybe on a kid, maybe on a, I don't know. It does. Okay. All right. We are talking about some of the updates
that people never hear because either, you know, it just never happens. We don't get to solve the problem, and a lot of them happen this time of year, happen in December. With a lot of homeless population. A year ago, my daughter, Susanna, remember when I took Addie down to Colorado Springs to help that lady? This is one where we really helped her, and let me tell you what we did. And instead of trying to change their life, instead of trying to get them a place to live and try to get them not homeless, it never works. It just never works. We've done it so many times now. I actually asked this lady, I said, well, okay, so what's the real thing that would change your life right now? And do you remember what she said?
Candles or batteries? I can't remember.
It was candles and batteries. She says candles. I said, candles? You live outside. She goes, no, I have a tent. And inside the tent, one candle burning can actually keep it warm enough inside that tent, which, I mean, it was amazing to me. So I went out, I bought her more candles than I've ever bought in my life, and I bought her a ton of batteries, and then as I was leaving Walmart, I'm like, you know what, I'll grab her a sleeping bag. So I grabbed her a sleeping bag and this other stuff and drove it down to her. We didn't try to change her, but it made her life better. That's how you help some of these people. Trying to give them a car when they don't have driver's license. And by the way, talking about that lady in the car, I want to continue this update real quick. What was her name again? Terry. What was the other thing with Terry? So not only were we going to give her a car because she told us if we give her a car, she's got a job lined up with UPS. Okay, that's what she said. Yes. She didn't have a driver's license. And we asked her on air, can you drive a standard? Because this vehicle had a stick shift. Right, Dan? I mean, you remember this.
Yep.
I actually asked her, or Tom asked her on the air. Now, when we find out she never had a driver's license ever, it begs the question, how did she possibly learn how to drive the vehicle? Right? I don't know. That's why this thing never got done. Then when we run a background check on her, we find out she was on the lam.
Oh, dear. There was a warrant for her arrest.
There was a warrant for her arrest.
You learned to drive without a driver's license? That's what I thought. Yes, thank you, Suzanne.
Well, yeah, but that's when I was 14. This lady was like 40. Well, I mean, it's a little different. But she was on the lam. I'm not kidding. Literally on the lam. So she's wanted by the cops. She doesn't have a driver's license, never did have a driver's license, and we were going to give her a car. Okay. We weren't thinking clearly that day. Can we all admit that now?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I wasn't here for the Ghana dog, but Suzanne and I were in, I think, Las Vegas. And who was here? Who
have all the right papers.
For the dog.
For the dog.
So they allowed the dog in Ghana to get on the airplane, but when it got over to customs, they said, no going.
No go, send it back to Ghana.
So, and I'm curious on that part, did they have to pay to ship it back, or what happened?
No, I think it went back. I think
just on the airline?
Right, right.
So the airline's probably, that's the route.
Right, but I think they had to pay for it to come here, and they didn't get that money back.
So then what happens? Well, why would they get it back, though?
Right.
So then what happens? So they call in. And what do they want? How are we? Did they want you to fly over to Ghana and take care of the dog? What happened?
Then it got over there and it had the right amount of time that it had to be quarantined, and then they needed money to send it back. And that's really what it was. They needed money to get it back.
They needed money, so they called in basically trying to push a GoFundMe site.
Right, exactly.
So how much did they raise, if anything? I know what we raised for them that day because I saw the account. We raised, I think, $350 total.
And I don't remember what the actual, or if we even seen what the final was on that.
It was $350. Suzanne, well, she's on the phone, but was it $350 we raised?
I think it was $300, and they really, their GoFundMe site didn't have hardly anything.
They didn't get anything. How much did they need, though, to bring the dog back?
I think it was a couple thousand.
Okay, so once again, the question begs, do you give money to that, or do you give it to hungry children downtown at the, downtown Denver? Do you give... I just started thinking about this, and I had nothing to do with this one, and I feel bad for these people. Dogs become a part of your life. But what's better to do? Do you give $2,000 to fly a dog from Ghana over to the U.S., or do you give that $2,000 to a family that, they've fallen a little behind, but they still have a house and a roof over their head, and they got small children? You make the Christmas better. I mean, really, what do? I don't think we should try to fly a dog over. Plus, we'd never raise that much. And the reason I say this is, a lot of people on Facebook, when I saw that post, once again, we were in Vegas, there was a lot of people going, what are you guys, crazy? It sounds like you guys are getting scammed. The whole story sounded insane. Now, I don't know if it was a scam call. I don't think so. But who knows? You don't think so, Dan? No way?
No, I think it was, but like you say, you're asking for a lot of money for a dog. And when you could feed, how many people for $2,000?
A lot of people.
That's definitely a first world issue kind of thing compared to, like, my kids are starving.
Well, it is, and that's what I'm saying. It's a dog. I mean, I think you take the money you raise. But anybody that chipped in for that, Suzanne, are we just refunding that? Because that's something we haven't done yet.
Well, no one's given me an update until today, so maybe we should.
What was the update today?
So we got an email today just asking...
Is that... Well, I just brought this up as this, and you're saying we literally got an update today on it.
I'm sorry, I thought you were talking about the Ghana dog.
We are.
Yeah, it sounds like the update is we're not going to be able to do anything about it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because we can't raise $2,000. I'm not going to ask people to give money to that. At this point, we did try. But did they call today?
They sent an email over the weekend saying that, they need to get the dog here and... is there anything we can do? Did we make any money?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I think that's it. But we do need the people that did donate to that, I think we need the refund. I mean, we're not going to just hand them $300. Anytime we raise money for people, we put it towards the cause. We'd literally give it to the airline. We'd give it to whoever. We don't give it to the people.
Right, Mark, I used to fundraise for abused children, and there was a TV, or the news they had found 2 abused children that needed money, and they announced it on TV. Then, at the same time, there was this abused dog. the abused dog made
more money.
50% more money than the abused children.
I mean,
no.
I guessed it because, I mean, it seems like that's how it goes. They have those commercials on there, 50 cents a day, you can help an animal, and they show the poor thing in the pound.
It's the emotional attachment. It's
I love
easier
my animals.
to have an animal that doesn't talk back and loves you unconditionally, and that is where.
Yep, very true. Donald, what's going on with you, sir? Donald.
Yes.
How can we help you?
Yeah, I just want to get the word out for my support groups that I have for dads.
Okay. What kind of support groups?
We have 3 groups. We have a Fathers Forever support group for the older dads, and then we also have...
What does that mean, though? Help me out. What is Fathers Forever? What is it?
It's a support group that's designed to help fathers of all walks of life to further develop their parenting skills.
You said it was for older, but they still have kids. Older guys that have kids is what you're saying.
Right.
Okay.
We also have we also just started, and this is in the early stages, support group for teenage dads.
Oh, that's a good one. They always have them for teenage moms. That's good thinking, though. Teenage dads. And what's the other one?
The other one is an actual group that's run by...
Go to Rockies. I always say put them on the list. Shop around on Colfax. Shop around on Craigslist. Shop around at dealerships. Then go to Rockies. You're going to love it. They'll bring you around in the golf cart. And like I said, why are 40 lenders important? I say this all the time. They'll have the prime lenders to where if you have good credit, you're going to get an awesome price on the car, and you're going to get a great interest rate on it. Plus, they give you great money for your trade-in. A lot of places, they'll make the money on the trade-in, not Rockies. They're going to give you a very fair amount, if not the best around on your trade-in, and get you into that new vehicle. If you're upgrading, maybe you got a kid on the way, you need to get a minivan, an SUV, and once again, a Carfax with every car. It's Rockies Autos, and they're at 63rd and Federal. RockiesAutos.com, RockiesAutos.com to check them out, or give them a call at 303-426-4646. They're open Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Rockies Autos, put them on the list.
From the L&L Heating...
Okay, did you come up with something, sir?
Yep, I think we could do 3 radon test canisters for anyone.
How do you want to do?
What do you suggest?
What are you going to do, mail them out, or you're going to mail? I would not order just with the I do, let's say 20. You can, as the calls come in, I mean, you can take one if you want. Okay, but I would do it. Okay. I wouldn't do it right now.
Do you know some of their special ones that you can
Yeah, that's true. Well, it's still free. We did it for another one. I know. She's, oh my God, she went crazy. Problem is you get a lot of people that, anytime something's free, you'll have someone in an apartment in a skyrise getting one. What's your address?
1748,
Blah, 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 New Jersey. Is that one duplicate card you made for us at 400? God, I hope so.
So this was weird. When we first bought Rick bought the Ford Taurus SHO when it first came out. He had to pre-order it. It was the only one in Colorado.
I saw one of those today.
Well, and so this was, 20
When they first came out.
When they first came out. And we had to take it to the Ford dealership a couple of times to, just different warranty things that happened. 3 times I found a key. The first time I was like, what is this down here? And it was like down between the seats. So I found it, and I was like, oh, Robot must have fallen down. The next time I thought, I'm going to go check. I think they were, there was an inside job where they would say, this is where the person lives. Break the window, there's a key right here. You can steal the car.
Like where they were programming in the thought.
Exactly. This was before thought. But it was when they first started making those big black.
Okay, yeah.
That was the first generation of
Right, but yeah, I just keep
a spare right there next to my sink kind of thing?
Yeah, and so it happened 3 times, every time we took it there. And I finally called the manager and I said, you guys have a problem. And I spoke to my friend that was a German police officer, and he said, yeah, that sounds like something fishy.
It's just us.
Yep.
All right, folks, 303-713-8255. We have got a lot going on. We're going to have more follow-ups tomorrow. Holidays are kind of crazy. That's why we were talking about it. It made me think of Shauna, who, go ahead, Suzanne.
Mark, we need to update the Christian Brothers problem tomorrow with Budget A1 and the caller.
Oh, man, I forgot about that one. That's a big one. That's a big one. Christian Brothers. In fact, have we heard back from Christian Brothers yet? Because these guys need to reach out to us. I got to tell you.
I don't know who's dealing with that side of it. We just had the caller call, and I said, we'll have an update tomorrow for sure.
Dan, was that Clint? I like how I asked Dan, was that Clint? Hey, Clint, was that Dan? I mean, do we know who did I put on that? I don't recall.
I actually thought it was you, Mark, because you were dealing with Mark Machowski on it.
I went down and saw the vehicle,
so
yeah.
I thought it was you calling Christian Brothers.
No, I have not called Christian Brothers. We called, we left a message during the show, but we've never heard back from them. So we got to follow up on Christian Brothers. Clint, I'll give this one to you. To me, this is a bad deal. And when you hear the update tomorrow on what Mark Machowski found on this vehicle, it's crazy. Here's what happened. In a nutshell, they actually replaced the pumpkin on the back, or the rear diff, and some of the front diff 5 times, and it keeps failing. Christian Brothers replaced it 3. A dealership replaced it twice. It's an unbelievable story. We'll talk about that tomorrow, and we've got a lot of other stuff. I'll have an attorney in tomorrow, and we'll have a tax guy in, Larson, which will be pretty cool. Okay, and everybody excuse me. I've been getting over a cold, so I've been getting tongue-tied a little bit. I get a little tired as I start talking fast, and I try to talk faster. 303-713-8255. I have no idea what this means, but real quick, Mike, what's going on?
I was wondering if you know of a way to get a car key duplicate made for less than $400.
Oh, for less than $400, absolutely, and I don't care what kind it is. I mean, there might be a Mercedes or something weird out there.
This is a dealer only.
Yeah, I understand. So it's a fob. It does everything, right?
Well, no, it just opens and it just locks and unlocks and starts the car.
The answer is yes. I'm going to give you City Lock's number. You ready?
City Lock,
Yep,
okay.
303-444. Yep, 303-444-4407. It'll be quite a bit less. 303-444-4407. I know dealers get a lot for those, the manufacturers do, but there's people, if they have the right equipment, they can reprogram pretty much anything, and I know City Lock definitely does. So 303-444-4407.
It wouldn't be an aftermarket key?
Say that again?
It would not be an aftermarket key, because I've been advised that those often don't work.
Whatever it is will work perfectly.
Okay.
All right, later, man. I mean, I don't know if it's aftermarket or not. I mean, it doesn't matter if it works perfectly. Who cares? Okay, I want to go back to Axiom and twist your arm like I usually do with people. And first of all, Axiom Inspections, if you're buying a house, you got to have it checked out. Use people that we trust on the referral list. Wade Williamson with Axiom, he definitely does a great job checking out the whole house. But the other thing, if you're in the house and you have a basement, you haven't had it checked for radon, you have to have it checked for radon. I mean, you need to do that. Let me ask you this. If it's checked once, it's not something you got to check all the time. How often do you check, or just once?
EPA recommends testing every 2 years to make sure that it's still within the safe levels.
God, that seems amazing. So even if you were testing under 1, you would still want to do it every 2 years?
You do. The ventilation changes in your home, as well as the small hairline cracks in your basement and foundation, and that'll allow more radon to come in over time.
So I want you to give out some free tests.
All right, we can do that.
So 20 people?
I'll give out 20 free tests.
All right, 20 free tests. You're going to mail them out. You were saying 100. I think that's way too many. Ooh. I know how much they cost you. I know how much the test costs you. You probably got about $20 in it, maybe more.
Yep. So we'll do 20 tests and be happy to do that.
Yep. So if you want to take advantage of that, I'm going to give you the phone number right now. And these are easy to use. You don't even show up. You mail them to them. And then what happens? They follow the instructions, but they put it in the basement.
They put it in the basement, the lowest livable area of the home. Yep. And they'll set up the test kit, let it sit for 48 hours.
Yep.
They'll seal it back up and then mail it in.
Yep. All right, 303-482-1459. And that's Axiom Inspections. The other thing I want to impress, though, if you're buying a house or if you're even looking right now, get something lined up. You got to have someone that knows what they're talking about. 303-482-1459. Ricardo, what's going on with you?
Hi, good afternoon. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How can I help you, Ricardo? We're just up against the clock, sir.
I'm having a problem with the T-Mobile bill. I take out a device on a 24-month payment plan.
Yeah.
And they sent me a bill, however, and the bill that they sent me is not corresponding with the... They sent me a bill that is not corresponding with their system, and then they're telling me that...
What do you mean with their system? You mean with what you think you paid?
No, well, it's like this. They sent me a bill for $1,094 and some cents. However, they're saying that the bill is almost $1,200 or $1,300.
Man, you've really got me here. So they sent you a bill for $1,094.
$1,989.
Oh, okay. Okay, let's just say 1,900. But are they telling you only owe 1,300? Is that what you're saying?
No, they are saying that they credited my bill back for $100.
Okay.
Which I only hold. A matter of fact, I only hold them for.
You're just saying the bill. You're just saying the bill's not right, Ricardo? You're saying they're charging me too much. Oh my God, that's so easy. That's an easy question. Do you think they're overcharging you?
Yes.
Okay, hold on. We have an angel over at T-Mobile that can look at it. Suzanne, let's get that information. We can have them up tomorrow to talk about it as well. 303-713-8255. Don't forget, when we're not here, you can find us at live@troubleshooter.com, our Facebook page, our YouTube page, referralist.com, troubleshooter.com, and as Tom always says, save all your problems for us.
Are you burned out? Do you feel the stress rising on Sunday when you realize you have to head into work the next day?
I had like an entirely, we're still on. I had a 100% entirely different show. What I thought, don't talk about it. 100%. Through me.